I'll just message Keith.
That's it, we're rolling.
Yeah, so the doctor just said rub ointment on it, it should be fine.
Well, I'm glad to hear it's clearing up.
Yeah.
Right, hold on. This is me trying to run 3 mice here at once. Hold on. There we go, because we changed it all. No, that is the last. That's the other one. There we go, that's us. Hello and welcome to Flory Models. Are we live, Steve? Could you check?
I'm just checking.
Yeah, it's alright. There's quite a delay. There's more of a delay today than that.
Yeah, so the doctor just said rub ointment on it, it should be fine.
Right, okay. That's it, that's done, that's alright, we're all live. I've heard it as well, so we should be good. There we go, welcome to Tuesday's Q&A. It's a bit of a strange week for me because we're trying to get everything ready for Telford. Can't believe it's here again. Where has this year gone? It's flown by. But anyway, we're here for the next sort of hour or so, and we'll get through as many of your questions as we can. Well, I think we're still undefeated. I think we've always done everyone's questions. So anyway, Steve, how's it all going? How are you doing?
Yeah, not so bad. A bit hectic. Just seeming to getting everything ready for the weekend. So mainly it just seems to be getting all my bases, knocking up a couple of simple bases and just putting finishing touches to things. So yeah, quite busy really.
Yes, I must admit we're sort of flat out trying to get all the bits and pieces, and it's all the little things like you say, like bases and the things you don't really think of day to day, and then you're suddenly thinking, crikey, Telford's upon us, what are we going to do?
It's like I've already got a list now of all little jobs that I need doing, and
very in front. I must admit, I'm not. I've got no bits of paper yet. I must start to jot down. I must admit, one of the last things we had to come in that we've been waiting on was, of all things, carrier bags, because we have the paper carrier bags with our labels on. They literally turned up about an hour ago, and that's the last thing we were waiting on to be here. Apart from the usual bits and pieces for the business side of it, everything is now ready. So I've been this morning making up pigment sets of all things. So I've made up 50 pigment sets all ready to go, boxed up, loaded, sorted, ready in. The wash sets I'm going to make up probably after this, get going with those, and then it'll be sander sets, and then we are literally all done. Right the way through to, I've made sure we've got all our little tablecloths and everything, they're all done and ready. So we've got a pile of them. So we should be good to go this year. We're sorted, on par and are ready.
excellent.
Anyway, so, right, okay, so we have our questions up here on our bigger monitor.
I've got to say, before you read the ones on your threads, there's been a couple put that are not in the thread for today. They're just on the normal Q&A category page, so...
Right, yeah, try and make sure they go in the right thing, guys. If you want to read them out, Steve, that'll save me having to go off and find other pages.
Okay, from Paul Roberts. Hi Phil and Steve, I would like to ask you if you can give advice of where to get the Ducati paint that you use on the Tamiya 1199 Panigale. As you mentioned in the video build, it will be posted on the website. I am new to the site and to modelling generally, and I'm enjoying making my way through the video builds. From Paul Roberts, who's just up the M5 in Clevedon.
Yep. Absolutely. Right, okay, well those actually was Ducati's paint. As we know, Matt from 8Ball, he had a bottle of it floating around, so that's what I used. The other way you could do it is to get the touch-up stick for it and thin that if you wanted to do it that way, but Matt actually got me the colour itself. He happened to have a bit lying around and put a bit in a pot for me, and that's exactly what I did. So from that point of view, the people who say out there that you need scale effect, that red is the red from one, so you don't need a scale effect. It's a block colour, so it's red. You can get away with it. So that's actually what we did with that one. So it was straightforward red. Ducati 911 red. It's Ducati red, isn't it? I think that's what it's known as. But as I said, you have got Zero Paints and people like that. I think they do all those types of colours as well. Boy, things like that, if you wanted to go down those lines for model equivalents. But we've always said that you could probably get away, because there's not a lot of it, just buy a touch-up stick for one with that red, and then pour that out of the actual touch-up stick, thin that, and then use that, and you'll be absolutely fine. It's the same way of doing it, and I think a touch-up stick's about a £5, £7, so it's a cheap way of doing it to have the spot-on colour.
And he wrote another question. He would like to know, do you think anybody will be selling the American Pledge floor care finish at Telford? Well, that's no.
No, no.
That's an obvious no. My second question, Phil, what do you use to clean your airbrush after using MRP paints? Anything we can use here in the UK other than lacquer thinners? IPA,
Well,
sure.
cellulose thinners, yeah, cellulose thinners and lacquer thinners are basically the same thing from that point of view. So yeah, lacquer thinners, cellulose thinners, you know, that will strip it out. It's a hot product. To be honest, you can get it quite easily. It's readily available on the net. You'll see it at Telford. But self-leveling thinners, which this is, absolutely fantastic for it. This is the 400ml bottle of it, and it's great. You know, I use it all the time, self-leveling thinners. Anything, if I want a nice smooth general finish, anything else like that, I highly recommend that stuff.
But yeah, you can get the tins of cellulose thinner. Just any will do for
Yeah.
cleaning out your airbrush. But you can, I think IPA does quite well at shifting all that.
Yeah, I haven't tried IPA on MRP paints, but I can imagine it'll probably do the same thing. Yeah, but yeah, as for the American version of clear, it's not clear. That's the thing. I think that's the trouble. It's that it's very easy to call it clear. This is actually floor care. See, look, even I'm doing it. Floor care. Okay, so this is a completely different formula to what we've seen before. This stuff is, well, I love it. I've been using it over everything. It seems to give a more cleaner, sharper finish. It's not as waxy, so to speak, or thick as we've seen previously. But this stuff is definitely not clear in any shape or imagination. It's a clear gloss, so that's why I think why we call it clear. But yeah, you're looking for Pledge Floor Care, the American version, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's the best I've used. Dries instantly. Beautiful finish, probably the best finish on clear parts you can get, including the so-called proper stuff for it. You know, to be honest, it's a lot better than the AK stuff. This stuff works an absolute treat. So we do like that one, definitely.
I've got to say, you can there's thread up about it, and I know I buy from this guy on eBay in America, and he sells it posted to the UK for about £15, which is probably the cheapest you can get. And the bottle's got to last you.
Oh, last you forever, won't it?
Yeah, because you only need a small amount.
Yeah, I must admit, I bought that when it first got mentioned about it, and as I say, I got it off an eBay seller, and I think it was about £12–13 delivered, and it took about a week, and it turned up no problems at all. But it is, you think, I've been using that for everything I do, and I've just used that tiny bit off the top, and I've been doing loads of testing with it, I've been dipping with it, you name it, it's had it. And as far as I know, and I think we'll probably check that a little bit later on if someone reminds me, I'll run upstairs and I'll go and get that clear thing. It's been now 2–3 weeks on the windowsill, and we've had really strong sunlight, literally pretty much non-stop recently. And it'd be interesting to see if that has tinted, changed at all. But it's literally sat up there, south-facing window all day long. As I say, it's been nice and sunny for the last couple of weeks, so it'd be interesting to see if it is starting to tint at all, or cloud over, or do anything, even in direct sunlight. So, oh, is that it? Just those two questions out there?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Right. Okay. So Tony says, "Hi guys, love the show. Great addition. When I'm sitting back behind the modelling bench, my question is, what is the easiest to use and best matte clear coat out there? I've been struggling with the Vallejo one recently. Can't get it to mix right. Always leaving a whitish coat after drying. All the best." Right, okay, two options as far as I'm concerned these days. If you're going acrylic, I love the Tamiya, is it XF86? Yeah, which is, have I got a camera on? Hold on, I can drop you, let me get you, I haven't set my cameras today, where are we? One of those, and number 2 camera. There we go, so in theory, which is this stuff, absolutely fantastic. It just gives a very nice flat clear finish. The secret with it, every time you're going to be using flats and stuff like that, is to just let it build up very, very gently. Don't go in there flooding it down, because what happens is it's got the chalkiness sort of in this. This one, to be honest, is empty now, but you know, it's got a little sort of white hue to it. This is what gives you the texture, but if you flood it down, you end up with a chalky finish. That happens with pretty much everybody's. Okay, so Tamiya XF86 is is my definite clear choice at the moment. Your other option is the MRP one, which I use first of all in anger on the, where do we use it? On the F1 Mitsubishi, and it worked beautifully, very nice, no sign of whiting anything else, but obviously that is a lacquer based. Okay, so the MR, they call it super matte, I think it is, or whatever it is, it's super clear. Super clear matte. They do a satin and a gloss as well. Really rate that stuff, worked extremely well. First time I used it, just chucked it down, see what happened, and it gave a very nice finish. The great thing about that stuff, it is hard as nails. It's literally scratch proof. Beautiful stuff to work with, and I highly recommend that. So if I was doing both sides of the coin, if you wanted a lacquer one, then obviously super matte by MRP, or if you're doing acrylic, Tamiya XF86. Steve, what do you use?
Tamiya F86.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant stuff. You can't go wrong with it, really.
No.
You know, I'd probably thin it a bit more than others, about 70% thinner, and it just, you know, beautiful, easy to apply. It's just like applying Tamiya paint. You know, never, as long as you put a thin layer down, you don't get any white patches or anything else. Brilliant stuff.
I think that's the thing, is that like I'll even spray it neat. I've done it neat. If I'm dead flat, just spray it neat. But the thing is, you're only going to be doing 1-2 coats tops, passes over it. Don't keep going in and building up. As soon as you start to build up and you're like laying it down and you're fogging it on, it gets on top of each other, and that's when you get the frosty effect. And it's got that white frost look to your model and makes it all sort of dusty looking. That's because you've put too much on there, and it's just building up and it's stepping on top of each other, and it's almost like a frost effect. It doesn't look very nice at all, and it's particularly hard to get rid of, you know, short of sanding and wiping it all off and starting again, because even by reglossing over the top, that whiteness still tends to shine through. So you want to avoid that one. Okay, Peter says, hi Phil, or hey Phil, you were talking about rants on Saturday show, and it's given me an idea. You should have one a week. No, I shouldn't. Segment on your vlog. Lets you rant about something similar to what Peter Griffin has had on his show, Family Guy. His show segment was called "What Really Grinds My Gears." Okay, I'm half kidding, but it might actually be quite entertaining. I tried a larger font this time, so it's easier for you to read from your chair. Let's say it's all right now. I've got my monitor set up. We're okay for it. Probably a good idea, but to be honest, I think my rants get me into far much trouble, and I promise I will calm it down a bit. I won't go on one. You know me. I'll tell it as it is. I don't hold anything back, but some of my rants, I think, get me into a lot more trouble than it's worth. Okay, so Kevin says, hi Phil, I joined the big Japan SIG build, it's actually a group build, last week. I felt obligated to participate, God I can't even pronounce that, because I live in Okinawa, Japan, which affords me the unique access to some of the more off-the-wall stuff that Japan seems to be so famous for. I wanted to do something a bit obscure in the recesses of my local hobby shop, tucked away in a corner. Sorry, I had something flashing down below, it's a little thing. Sorry, I've lost my thing now, where are we? Tucked away in the corner at the bottom of the shelf under about 1,000 Gundam models, I found a series of kits by Hasegawa called, God Steve, how do you pronounce it? Mishi. It's those funny ones again we were on about the other day. You pronounced it beautifully.
Machinen.
Yeah, Krieger.
As you call Machinen Krieger. Yeah,
that's the one.
Machinen Krieger, that's it, we'll call it.
That's it, Machina Krieger. You pronounced it beautifully the other day for me. I figured it's about as obscure as I could do, so I purchased a kit and entered it. I chose the LUM-163 Camel Lunar Tactical Recon Machine, as it's a sort of a lunar mech. My question is, the canopy that is supplied in the kit is the smoke brownish colour. However, I want to copy the gold-like of an F-22 or a spaceship, and I wanted it to remain transparent. I do not have access to Alclad or AK paints, I do have the complete MRP, the complete Mr. Hobby colour line and the Aquatis line and the Tamiya line. I also have all the GAIR metal line, I've heard of them, as well as all the AKFV colours. There is a gold in this line. I'm very apprehensive about applying this type of lacquer to the canopy, so there's no reset button. If I jack, it's 80 quid up. There is also a suggestion, what are your suggestions and what do you think you could do a tutorial video on tinting canopies at some point? This is the bottom right one of, so we can see. So what we're talking about really, long story short, he wants to get the gold tint off the Raptor type colour, which is that non-reflective coating that they put onto the Raptor. That's the little guy he's on about.
Oh, I don't think anybody does gold
No.
clear, do they?
No, that is your trouble. To be honest, this has sort of come up before. We've had questions on this before, where people have tried to do gold tinting for Raptors. It's very hard to do it. I don't think anybody actually does a clear type of gold. That's your trouble. The only thing possibly I think you can get a halfway there is to use clear yellow. And maybe, just maybe, try a hint of gold over that, just to try and make it. But it's going to be one of those things. I can imagine you going too far and just blanket it. It's going to be gold, or it's going to look a mess and be speckly. But as you say, I don't know of a way of physically doing a clear gold, because to be honest, weren't the moon landing golds actually gold? That's what they were. It was a thin layer of gold that you could still see through. I think for the actual, that gold effect on sort of Apollo visors and sort of astronaut visors, I thought they really were gold. It's to reflect, isn't it?
Yeah, if
so
you can get
the sort of.
Can you get a clear yellow?
Yeah, Tamiya do it. XF24. Sorry, X24 is clear yellow. Tamiya.
Yeah, I'd maybe mix a bit of the clear yellow with a touch of clear orange to make it a bit lighter.
X26 if you're doing it that way.
And then best thing I've found out is if you mix, when we're doing it on the Dolphin, thin it with self-leveling thinners, and you only need really heavily thin. I'd probably put 78% thinner, so you only put in a really thin coat over, just do a couple of thin coats.
Yeah,
I do it. Because I know if you're doing aircraft, I think you can get replacement canopies now, can't you? Aftermarket ones, certain ones, but not easy to do.
Definitely not an easy one to do. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it yet, as in so you can still see through it. I've seen people do gold on the inside to do the Raptor. I've seen a couple of those. You get the 72nd ones, a lot of people do that. They just spray gold on the inside and it has that gold hue. Personally, I wouldn't do it. I'd use brass, because I think gold is too strong, but if you use brass it has that more sort of diluted look, and then the clear coming through. So you'd spray the inside to give it that depth. But as I say, to keep it so you can still see through it. Yeah.
Exactly, you wouldn't see through it, that's the problem.
That is it.
Hopefully some Tamiya will listen and
we want a clear gold. A clear version of gold. But yeah, it might be a case of, say, I don't know, yellow and orange mixing together, try and darken it down. I don't know about mixing, I don't know, can you get gold food colouring? Trying that trick as well might be an option. So if
you probably might be able,
into your clear acrylic, mix that with food colouring. I don't know if they do a gold version.
No, to be honest, I haven't seen it, because they usually paint the gold on, because I'm a big fan of Kate Boss. I must admit, I do like Kate Boss.
Right.
And they always paint the gold on. Yeah, it's brilliant, this Kate Boss.
I've seen the advert for it, but I've never watched it.
Buddy Velastro and the crew, yeah. He's made his bloody money out of it, I tell you. My God. Oh, has he ever.
And remember, if you're visiting us at Telford, we love cakes and anything other type of food.
But as I'm diabetic, I do like lattes, freshly made lattes from coffee shops.
So you get your orders in now. Okay, so Mick says, hi guys, really enjoying the live show. Spam. Don't know, is that spam? Yeah. Thank you. First, my daughter and I have built a few Bandai Star Wars Gundam models, as well as some Revell Snap-Tight Star Wars ones. I'm not planning on painting most of them, however, it'd be a lot of fun to weather them up, as well as really improving the look and the effect. Sorry, with a little effort. Do you need to seal first with varnish, or can I use the Flory wash or MIG enamel washes directly onto the plastic? If you're using my wash, then what I would suggest is putting a flat coat over it, because it will give the wash something to grip to. Because you're going straight onto plastic, the plastic is very slippery. It will try and just go off to the recesses. But if you put actually a coat of flat over it or satin, then put the wash, it will give the wash physically something to grip onto. And I can imagine it may be the same with an enamel wash as well, because MIG stuff is enamels. So again, because it's a really slippery surface on these, I just imagine it just trying to suck off to raised and recessed details. So you're not going to get it very smooth. It's going to be like blobs all over it. So what I would suggest, if you're doing it that way, is putting a satin or a flat coat right over it, then working it in and doing it that way. Steve, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'd probably go more of a satin coat over it, coat of clear. And that should do it, because it needs something to grip to.
Yeah.
I know when I did my little R2, I put coat clear all over it, and then just applied some enamel wash over the top of that. That seemed to be fine.
If you watch my Sand Trooper, you know, the Stormtrooper in the sand one, which we weathered him up, that's how I did mine, don't forget. I just gave him a flat coat right the way over him and then squirted him with sand wash right the way over it and then just rubbed it away. The only thing is it comes away very, very easily, so it needs something to grip onto, to bite down on. But if you have a look at that video, you'll see all about doing that one.
But to be honest, sorry, if it's a vehicle or anything like that, to be honest, it looks better if you paint it. I know it's a bit more effort, but you'll be able to get all the fading in there, and you'll be able to weather it a lot better, put some chipping in, and it just, I don't know, it brings it to life. Paint
yeah, but if he's doing it with his little ones, isn't it? They don't want to go through all of that. I think that's what he's meaning, really. Something that you can simply sort of give him a bit more bite, bring a bit more to life. Right, Phil, did you ever try the Tamiya Surface Primer? I was wondering how it compared to the new AK one. I've been using the Tamiya one 50/50 with lacquer thinner for a while now with great success. It's easy to buy locally. I was just curious of any difference you may have found. Yeah, I've tried it, and to be honest, I can't find any difference. It works just as well as the AK one. So, and I have it here because I tend to use it really for more of using this today. This is what the two we're talking about here, is these two. So this is the surface primer, but obviously you have to thin this. But you say lacquer thinners works great, or using the primer, the AK one. This is lacquer based as well. They both basically do the same thing. The only thing that's nice with this guy is, if you want to, you can actually use it a bit more. If I could get the top off, but you could use this for seam filling. So if you've got some seam lines, this is quite thick. You just pop a little bit in there, but just let this stuff dry. It takes for ages to go off. Okay, so you just want to give it a bit longer to go off, because if you try and sand it too soon, you'll get big sink marks on it because it tends to shrink back a bit. But yeah, really good stuff. You use this stuff, don't you, Steve?
Yeah, I've got some. Yeah, it's just make sure you thin it. I go up to about 60% thinner.
Yeah.
Because what happens, as I found out, if you don't thin it enough, when you're airbrushing it, it goes all cobwebby.
Yeah.
When it first happens, you're wondering what the heck's going on. Because I hadn't seen it before until that had happened. But yeah, thin it nicely, and yeah, it gives beautiful, perfect finish to your surface. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think, you know, the thing is with it is that it's one of those products where, you know, if you're happy with it and it's working, I wouldn't even change. You know, if you love that stuff and it's working great for you, don't even contemplate the AK stuff, because the AK stuff is the same, but you don't have to thin it. You just spray it neat from the bottle. So it's just, you know, one of those things. If you like it and it's working for you, stick with it. Right, thanks for the great shows. Okay, so Todd says, green stuff, question mark. Hey guys, I recently joined the group build. Hold on, move me mouse. Oh god, wrong way. Recently joined the group build for a Stug. This is for this. I want to do a finish modified one, but have issues trying to track down at a realistic price. Do you know about this one, Steve? Being an armor typey thing.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
I was so instead, I will convert the Academy 135th kit for the job. The finish, I put a distinctive
Add-on.
distinctive add a long and concrete armor that I wanted to recreate. So for this, I was thinking about green stuff. Have you ever used it? And would like to hear how it works, its limitations, how hard it sets, and is it workable? Anything to share would be greatly appreciated by you guys. Sorry,
I think what he's saying, yeah, a distinctive add-on log, because a lot
right.
of them logs on the back door if they get stuck and they can't get them out, and additional armor made of concrete blocks. So, and he's using green stuff. So it's basically epoxy putty, isn't it?
Is it? I must admit, I've never used that one.
It's similar to, yeah.
Well,
it's similar thing. Yeah, the kind of them two-part where you've got to mix them together. Don't know if it's green stuff, mate, but I'm sure. Yeah, it's that. There's two colours where you mix them together, so it will be epoxy putty.
Yeah. Have you ever used it? I must admit, I haven't used it, so I can't really comment on that one.
To be honest, you'd be able to do everything with it. For a log, I'd probably just go out in the garden and find a twig and hack it off a bush or a tree or something. It'd be more realistic. A lot of modelers do that. But yeah, you've got to make sure you mix it 50-50. And you get quite a few hours working with it, a couple of hours working with it. So you can form it into your shapes. And it'll probably take about 3 days to properly go rock hard. And it will be rock hard once you finish with it. Once it goes rock hard, you can sand it, scribe it, do whatever you want. It's good stuff. I've used it occasionally for making like tarpaulins and things like that. You can also use it for filling on your model if you really wanted. So what else have I used? I've used it for different stuff, but yeah, I've got a two-part epoxy putty, but I forget what they call it. It's not milliput, it's another stuff. But yeah, it's really good stuff. You can do quite a lot with it.
Very good. Right. Right, okay. So, Stephen says, hi Phil and Steve. A question for Steve. A few months ago on a Q&A show, you showed us the Rosemary & Co. paintbrush that you'd purchased. Here are a few questions about them. How are you getting on with them?
Yeah, they're fine. Working really well still.
Right. Are they worth the money?
Yes.
Would you recommend them?
Yes, they're a good brush, yes.
How would you rate them against the Winsor & Newton 7 series?
Having worked with them, I'd rather buy the Series 7, I think. They are a very good brush, but they're not quite the Winsor & Newton.
Right.
I think Winsor & Newton hold the point a lot better and last longer. Because I've had some that I'm still using. I've had 3-4 years and they're brilliant. Nothing wrong with them. As long as you clean them properly and look after them, they're going to last for years. So they are. It's that initial thing people put off, £7, £8 for a paintbrush, but you're buying once, and as long as you've got a bottle cleaner that's got to last you God knows how many years, look after them, clean them after you've used them. They got last year probably 5 years, if not longer. And with cheaper brushes, they lose the point so quick that you're forever replacing them. So you probably buy 10 or more brushes to own Series 7. So even though the Rosemary Company are very good, they're not quite as good as the Winsor & Newton.
Right. Okie dokie.
So if I were to buy again, I'm going to stick with the Series 7.
No problem. There we go. So, and what's the price difference between the two? I can't remember what you paid for
Not a
one versus
lot.
the others.
There's a couple of quid difference.
Yeah. So there we go. After all of that, the Series 7 still the one to go for. Okay, so Martin says, "Hi Phil and Steve. My question is about painting the Edard 148 wooden carrier deck. What is the best way to attack this?" Crikey, Steve, how would you do wooden decks? I haven't done many wooden decks in my life, if I'm honest.
It depends. For if you're going for your dark brown colour, your best bet is paint it with a light colour, maybe wood deck tan. I think they do.
Yeah, they do it, don't they? Yeah, which I can't remember what it
Which
is
is
now, but yeah, Tamiya do it.
F78, your wood deck
Yeah,
tan, and then get some oil, raw umber, burnt umber oil paint, and then go over the top, and that'll give you that nice kind of, it ages the look of this colour. It'll
well,
make
it
it
gives you
turn
the grain as
wood.
well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. As I say, the only thing I've done really wooden like that is if you have a look at the Wing That Wings Sopwith Triplane. Obviously, I did all the wood effect roughly the same way, and from the scale point of view, I did 30 seconds. You're looking at 48, but it's the same principle. So as I say, I do it the most easiest way I can, which is use a light buff colour. And before that, I think I used to use buff. But now as you say, you can actually get wood deck tan, which I've got as well. So XF78, but say if you have got buff, you could use buff, which is XF57. Tamiya, and then you should say with just oil paint over the top and a sponge, and it's actually very therapeutic. It's not as hard as it actually looks, and it gives you a really nice effect. Unless you're trying to do laminate and stuff like that, type woods, that's a different ball game. But for just general stuff, hold on, I'll get you bigger.
That's one of them. It's the anti-ditching things that goes on top of a World War One tank, and that's what I did with that. Started, it's just plain plastic. It had, I took a razor saw and start at one end and drag it across, and it kind of gives the grain effect onto the surface. And then I sprayed it with might have been Tamiya Buff or Desert Yellow, something like that. And then I went over it with the oil paint. It gives it a nice. Don't know how well you can see the grain looking there, but it gives you that nice effect. Yeah, and that's how it is. So it does look like old wood. So that'd be a good way of doing it for the deck. So it depends how much oil paint you use. If you thin it down a bit, you won't get as darker effect, or use a different shade of brown. But it does worth a treat. It does give you a really nice effect. But yeah, for putting wood grain in, razor saw's brilliant. Just really put it in and just scratch across the surface, and it'll give you that wood grain. And as you're doing it, kind of do it slightly wavy if you can, just ever so slight, and works a treat. But that's the best way, I think.
There we go. Hope that helps, Martin. Okay, Neil says, "Hi both. Just thinking about a discussion about the cost of kits on Saturday's show. The price of oil has halved from 2015. And since new kits have globally gone up in price, I'm not convinced it's either oil prices or currency fluctuations are the main cause." Yeah, but don't forget, they don't buy oil that there and then. It takes a while for it to sort of filter through. Small increases in kit prices are understandable, but I do think there is an element of price gorging. Is that? Yeah. In some of the new releases, I'm mystified how AMK can release a top-notch kit like the MiG-31 for 45 quid, and the Hobby Boss one is set for an MRP of $160. Yes, maybe retail is cheaper, but it's not going to be $100 cheaper. I'm also told that the AMK F14 will be a similar ballpark as to the MiG-31 against the Tamiya, which is at least £20 more. I'm wondering if the volume of sales is declining, which is causing manufacturers to raise prices to maintain the margin and revenue. We do have any number of volumes of the kits sold this year to compare with, say, 5 years ago. No, not that I know of. Since this is rant season, why do we put up with being overcharged for anything modelling related, be it kits, tools, aftermarket stuff, rather than calling our price is that gorgeous and refusing to buy their products? And while I'm on my soapbox, tongue-in-cheek mode, how dare they charge £3 a month for this site is so far too good that offers far too much for so little money. Keep it up. Funny enough, I was talking to somebody in business the other day and he says I would put my prices up. So I was like, yeah, that's all right. I can imagine the fallout from that one. He reckons
Yeah,
I should be charging a fiver.
yeah. Put your prices up and give Steve an expense account.
Yeah, Steve gets an expense account.
Yeah,
So yes, that's it. But
I can
I
go
was
for
talking to this
business
bloke.
lunch. Yeah,
Yeah, he was saying to me, I can't believe you charge £3. That's like stupid. Anyway, yeah, the thing is, off the back of this, I have spoken to a couple of people in the industry and all the rest of it, and literally they will tell you a completely different story. That, you know, obviously the thing is, AMK, they're in the EU. Well, no, they're not. They're Turkey, are they? Sort of in the EU, and everything else like that. It may be that it's just the way that they're doing it. They don't have the big overheads of like big, huge companies. Obviously, they're an established company now, but you know, my main worry is, and like I said on my little rant the other day, is that 10 years time, that's where I'm looking at this hobby, and I can just see it being that obviously you sort of Tamiya's of this world and the other more specialist companies, Trumpeter and Hobby Boss and all the rest of it, their prices are going to go up because their sales are falling, and like everything in life, like your bespoke anything in this world, you're going to pay a premium for it because they don't make many of it. If it's mass produced, you know, then obviously it's going to be cheaper. And it doesn't matter if you're talking food or cars or furniture or model kits. That's the way of the life. And I can just see that as we dwindle as a community, because I can't see new blood flooding in, quite frankly, like it has done in the past, that you are going to have this thing where you're going to get the cheaper kits, snap tight stuff like that, that is relatively cheap, and these companies produce it because they can shift it. And then you get the model kits. What happens to the companies in the middle? They're going to go, and as soon as they go, then you're going to get this big disparity between the two. You're going to have the companies up here charging £300 a model kit, and you're going to get the ones down here doing it for £50 a model kit, and that is the trouble, and that's how I can see it going on. I don't understand quite how Hobby Boss are doing this thing about the SU34. I do know that their Facebook page took a little bit of a rattling, and people are saying, well, why is it so much money? And why is the box so big as well compared to the SU27? Is it just so it makes you feel you're getting like more money because you've got a big box for the SU34, yet it's no bigger kit than the actual SU27, and the box is like almost a third smaller? Is it why is it? But it'll be interesting to see what the real price of that comes out of yet. We haven't seen it yet, so it might be just be one of those things where people saw it at the I think it was at the Suzuka show, was it, or wherever it was, and it had that price thing on it, and everyone did the calculation from the yen into their country, and then by the time it's bounced around a bit, and it's horrendous. So imagine what it would be like for us in the UK. But again, it's one of those things, if you go back 10 years and look how the pound was against the dollar, it was something like the pound would get you $2.07 or whatever it was. So it was literally half. So if a kit you could buy from America, ship it over here, pay all the import duty and all the rest, it was still a lot cheaper than actually getting it. But now we've fallen off the cliff a bit, and the pound's so weak against everything, it makes everything really expensive over here. For us to physically buy it. So I think that's the thing, is that speaking to, I won't mention his name, but obviously a person who I've worked a little bit with recently and everything else, they were saying they had to put in another order to buy more stock in and stuff like that. And yet it's costing them thousands of pounds more for the same order as the first one they put in, purely because now the pound is lower. But when you're buying lots of little things, it soon mounts up and it makes a huge difference, which squeezes your margins. You know, margins do have to be in there. It's not just one bloke making a model kit and selling it. There's everybody that's involved with it. Staff wages are costing cost a fortune. That's the trouble. But as you say, I know it doesn't make anything a pill easier to swallow from a purchaser's point of view, but sometimes I would rather a company makes a healthy profit to keep releasing good kits and putting money back into the company than just surviving, because as we all know, it doesn't matter again what company it is, if you're just surviving, you're never going to be able to thrive and expand. Okay, but if you've got a company who's doing well, then they're going to put more money and effort into new designs, new things, new tooling, new ways of making model kits and everything else like that. And that is the thing. People need to make money at the end of the day to survive. And as an end user, I know people don't want to hear that, but this is my business side coming in as well. From my personal point of view, yes, we make a good living from this, and I throw a massive amount of money back into the company because I can. But if I was scratching a living here, I wouldn't be able to afford brand new equipment, brand new computers, brand new cameras, which you get more out of than actually I do, because you get the end product and it's a better end product. But if I was just scratching a living, we wouldn't be able to do this. We'd still be doing it on a webcam. So from that point of view, sometimes I think you just have to bite the bullet, accept it, and hopefully you get my understanding from their understanding and everything else. And that's the way it is. But it goes right the way down. I can explain it from terms of like me when I was developing the wash and the other things like that. Because we sold 14,000 bottles a year of this stuff, it enabled us to develop it, and we did versions of it. And over the first 5 years of the wash, we revised it, made it better and everything else. And now we've pretty much got it where I want it to be. But if you weren't selling much of it, I wouldn't put much effort into it. Because it's not making me any money, it's not doing anything for me, but it made us a very nice amount of money from it. We did very well from it. So from that point of view, it sort of made me want to develop it and push it further, bring out other colours and things like that. So don't be too hard on them. I think, as you say, everyone needs to make a little bit, as long as they're not making tons and sitting on an island somewhere, or the other way is they're making tons and not putting any money back into the company, then I think that's something a little bit different.
Yeah, and you also have to remember, they're saying about, okay, the price of oil's halved, but bloody wages haven't. Wages still need to be paid,
I think the same with any company is people don't realise is that,
there's a lot of overheads.
The overheads these companies have, it's not just a guy sat there making a design and bringing them out, it's not a cottage industry. They have big bills to pay, I wouldn't want it. God, it's not bad enough here. I've just had a bill for our range of stuff come through, and it's like, Jesus. Anyway, but as I said, don't be too hard on them. But as I say, if people bought kits and we can get more people into the hobby and people buy it, so they'll make more money, and then hopefully they can afford to lower the price because they're shifting loads of them. They don't need to make as much on every unit, so to speak. So the unit cost will drop. Hopefully that will pass on to us. So it's our responsibility to get people more involved in into the hobby and push it forward. And I know I had some naysayer the other day saying it's not my job to get new people into the hobby. It's these companies to get our job to get it in. They should invest in it. It's not. It's everybody's responsibility to try and get people into it. Keep the enthusiasm there and everything else like that. Right, rant over. Okay, so Peter says, "Hi Phil and Steve. I have a 1/35 scale Cromwell model from Cromwell Models. I didn't know there was a company called Cromwell Models. Resin ferret scout car. This has been sat on my box, sat in the box on my stash for 20 years. I originally hand painted it using Tamiya acrylics, but was never happy with the finish, hence why I left it in its box. My question is, what is the best way for removing the paint from resin and so I can respray it? Many thanks, Peter." Right, well, personally, I'm a great fan of the IPA trick, but I don't know how IPA works with resin.
It's perfectly fine. No,
is it fine? I've just never done it, so I
what I often do with resin is a lot of resin has got release agent on it, especially the kids. So I like to give them a little wipe over with IPA before I start painting, and you'll have no problems using IPA.
Yeah, because as I say, I don't think we've actually got a video of it anymore. We used to have, but I did Buster originally. So what I did was I gave him a bath in IPA and just give it a rub over, and you'll find it'll very quickly eat into it, and it literally just wipes away, and you can just redo it. And if you have got a bath amount, and then reuse it, just sieve it, reuse it again for doing that type of work and stripping back, and you'll find you go for it. And then you can just literally run it under the tap and rub it all away. The great thing about using IPA, the reason I like it, is it won't attack the plastic, or in this case resin. So if you have used fillers and stuff like that, and even on clear parts, it won't affect it. Yeah, if you use thinners, you're going to soften the plastic, you can soften joins, you can soften putties, or even take putties clean out. So that's why I quite like using IPA, and it's dirt cheap. You know, for the price you pay for IPA, it's really, you know, it's nothing like thinners. So yeah, get yourself some IPA or isopropanol alcohol. That's the stuff.
Don't buy. Your best place to get it, order it on eBay, order it online. I know a lot of people will nip to the local chemist to buy a bottle, but they're selling 400 milliliter, 500 ml bottles for £5. You go on eBay, you can get a gallon for less than 20 quid delivered, and that's what I do.
Yeah, and this is what I've done. And this is my bottle of IPA, which I've had now for the last over 10 years. It's fine. Still got a load left. But yeah, this one actually hasn't got it. They do different flavours of it though, so to speak. They do like a 99.5% or a 95%.
99 is what you want.
Yeah, you want the highest one you can get.
Well, I've got a cheap plastic mixing bowl. Also saved a large coffee jar. So what I'll do is, first model I used to strip, do it in the plastic bowl, and then when you finish, just decant the IPA into the coffee jar.
Yeah.
And you can see all the used paint and dregs. Some of it will stay in bowls, so you can just wipe it out. And just use that, just keep it in a cupboard. And then if you ever need to strip again, just reuse the same.
The same one. That's, to be honest, that's what I do. And then what I tend to do, the coffee jar, you will notice because you'll leave it stand, it will all sink, all the paint. Then all you do when you tip it slowly, and then you can rinse out and flick out the other stuff before you then tip it back in. That way you limit the amount of junk you got in there. But I just reuse the same one time after time. It's great for that type of thing. So yeah, strip it back, start again. Absolutely no problem with that.
But just remember, it's highly flammable. So don't do it near your oven or out like that.
Yeah, don't have the oven going or your gas hob burning whilst you're in the sink doing it, because that's flash potential. Okay, Paul Collier says, hi Phil and Steve, love the site as I come back to the modelling and loving the videos, live shows in the forum. My question is, I want to help my granddad back into the hobby as well. He used to enjoy it, but he suffered from a strokes in the past and has lost some confidence in his dexterity. He served in the army during the Suez crisis as a tank driver, unsure of the regiment, but I was hoping to inspire him with a few models of armour he used to drive. Can you recommend any? As he mentioned an amphibious vehicles, but I can't find any references to any used. Thank you for all that you do. Keep up the good work, Paul. Steve, tanks from the Suez crisis. What did we use?
Amphibious ones. Good grief. I don't know. Amphibious ones.
Yeah, that's well above my pay grade. I don't know any of those ones.
Yeah, that's a good question, that.
Yeah, I must admit. There we go. We're opening this one up to the forum as well. If any guys are watching this and you know, post it up in the forum and mark it for Paul, for the attention of Paul. Perhaps we can get him a list together of all the ones, and then he can check with his granddad to find out if it's the ones he used. But I must admit, I know nothing about armour whatsoever. So if it's not a Sherman and an Abrams, I'm out of my depth. Okay, if I just push on and we'll come back to that one in a minute. Okay, Andy, he says, hi Phil and Steve, loving the shows. I believe you guys have helped my modelling improve so much with all the hints, tips, and not to mention the video builds. Looking forward to Telford and will be coming on Sunday for the day. I think I'm more excited about Telford than Christmas right now. You're not alone there. Most people I speak to are more excited about Telford than Christmas. I rate myself as mediocre modeller, but I'm really trying to improve. So, 2 questions if I may. I mainly build armour so far. I've tried a few kits, Tamiya, Italeri, and the Meng M3A3 Bradley. Having got my first aircraft, a 148 scale Hasegawa Apache longbow, which is the AH-64D, and with a plan to build an F-14 Tomcat as my next aircraft, just deciding which one to buy. Although I love the Meng kits, the detailing is awesome. I found the kits to have an incredible amount of small parts that seem to be breaking into tiny part of each model each time I build it, and it's knocking my confidence a little. So the 135th scale Meng T90 I have is staying in the box until my skills improve. The Apache is going okay though. I've already broken a piece again. So frustrating. So having managed a repair job, sorry, I don't know what the O's are other than 1 or 2. That's the thing, don't forget, when you break things, you're a modeler, you can try and fix it. As long as it's not a clear part, there's pretty much nothing you can't fix, as I say, until somebody says, well, you could do such and such. Look at me, for instance. When I was working on this guy, I managed to cut the tail off. I was doing my scissor trick of holding 2 bits together and cut the tail clean off. So I've had to glue a bit on. Can you recommend an armour kit or and an aircraft kit that isn't too hard to put together but will help me improve my skills and my confidence back up? The sort of mid-level kit that is not exceptionally complex to build. Right, okay, well if you're thinking about an F-14, if I'm honest, this will be your one to do, because I will get around to reviewing this one day, obviously, and I might even get around to building it as well. But the great thing about this kit is what we call a shake and bake kit. It's Tamiya, so you know it's going to go together really, really well, and you're going to have an exceptionally detailed, fantastic kit at the end of it of an F-14 Tomcat. Now the downsides to this one is it's the wrong version, because I prefer to see either a B or a D, if I'm honest, version of it, but I'm sure they'll be coming out later in the line. And again, you don't get all the details, which from your point of view is great, because if you don't want all the little fiddly finessey bits and all the rest of it, this is fantastic. So it's going to be one of those kits, it's going to be a doddle to go together. It's going to be sort of, you know, one of those things where you're not going to get any of the tiny little fiddly jobs of like building guns for it or engines and all those things like that. So it should be what I would call a shake and bake kit. It will go together with no fit issues, no problems, and pretty quickly as well. So then that way you can get onto the nicer things in life, i.e. painting, weathering, and doing those types of jobs. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. The AMK kit is going to be coming along, well, we're hoping around about Christmas, which will probably knock this thing into a cocked hat. The only thing is, I can imagine the AMK one, the surface detail is going to be too strong. It will be too deep. The paneling detail and obviously the rivet detail, whereas Tamiya we know have got it spot on. So from that point of view, I think the Tamiya will be a better looking Tomcat, but it won't be as highly detailed as the AMK one. So I'm thinking if you're going for detail, then go for the AMK kit. If you're going to go for overall looks and everything else, then I'd take the Tamiya one. And speed. If you want a quicker build, then definitely the Tamiya one will save you a lot of time, because you're not messing around with all those details. So that would be it. Steve, what about an armour kit? Get your mojo back.
Again, I'd have a look at the Tamiya range. You won't go too far wrong building a Tamiya tank. Also, you could consider doing something a bit, go for the Attack Chieftain, that'll be fine.
Yep.
Have a think of looking at some, instead of concentrating just on tanks, have a look at doing some of the 8x8 vehicles. They're brilliant. Somebody do some fantastic kits. Get some really nice hobby boss kits. If you don't want, you want to avoid Dragon, Meg, because they tend to be highly detailed. Certain ones Attacken's range. Like the Tamiya, if you like your World War One stuff, Tamiya's World War One tanks, brilliant. In fact, the Meng one's quite good. But that's what, I lean towards, some of Trumpeter Chieftain and, Trumpeter Hobby Boss Tamiya. You won't go wrong with one of their kits.
Yeah,
just get a kit, that you like the look of, and go
Mm.
for that. If you don't like the look of the tank or vehicle, don't bother build because you won't get your mojo going.
A
It's
classic
obvious
one for that
struggle.
is, I must admit, the new what's it called? The new Russian one. The I can't remember what it's called now. That weirdo looking tank. They call it. Is it the T-14? Whatever it is.
Oh,
Um,
the
that thing.
matter.
Yeah, the Armata. It does nothing for me whatsoever. That tank. To me, it's fugly. Really is a fugly tank. So I would. It would really be a push for me to build it because I just don't like the look of it. But as you said, if you gave me like a T90 or a T72, then I'll love the look of those things. I'll build one in a heartbeat. But as you say, the new thing, I don't know, it just doesn't do much for me from that point of view. There, yeah, T14. But if from my point of view, if I may, because as I say, I know Steve, he does all his armour and he'll throw himself in. But if the chieftains, any of them will go together beautifully, and they are so straightforward. They are literally almost snap-tight kits. They are beautifully engineered, very robust, and when you put things in, it's very, very straightforward. The instructions again are lovely, and okay, the tracks are a pain, but so is doing aftermarket route, if we're honest. So from that point of view, I've seen loads of you guys on the forum do it with the standard kit tracks and have turned out an amazing looking kit, and you'd never know they're not movable and all the rest of it. So from that point of view, I'd highly recommend any of the chieftains because they're absolutely beautiful. And as you say, like Steve said, if you wanted something a little bit different, and because you get the motorized one, then the Tamiya World War One tank is absolutely fantastic. It's just one of those things. It's got a little bit of engineering with Tamiya's legendary fit. So you're not going to be reaching for the filler anytime soon with that kit, and it goes together quite quickly as well. So very nice indeed. Right, okay, so next one, Dan. Owen says, hi guys, just a quick question. On my MiG-21 build, I'm at the deckling stage, and it's one of the reasons I tend to do jets, is the amount of tend not to do jets, I believe, is the amount of stencil data. Decals. I'm not a fan of laying them down. Decals. What would you use all the decals or just the obvious ones? Right. I'm a bit of a bugger for it because I would just do the ones that are important. I know technically when they're factory fresh they'll have them all on, but very quickly they get overpainted and they get faded down. When they go into like obviously deep maintenance and that, they put them all back on again. But some aircraft have more than others. Phantoms, legendary, the E model, the Air Force's Phantoms are covered in stencils. Navies, not so. They don't have hardly any on them compared to those. So yeah, picking your aircraft. But what I tend to do is, if it's a pronounced decal that you can see it pretty much from any angle, obviously that goes on. If it's some squiggly little line that you're hardly going to see, I will probably leave it off. That's how I do it. Steve, are you a
Yeah, I'm the
deckler,
same.
stickler, or do you just
Um,
do what can be seen?
it depends on the aircraft. I tend to put as many as I can on, but those that you're not going to see,
Mm.
I just don't bother with. It's like on an aircraft when it's meant to be writing, but it just looks like a dash or a little
Yeah,
thin
yeah.
line. What's the point? They
Mm.
get you to put a black one over a black surface. You think, well, you're
Mm.
not going to see that. Why bother? So that's
No.
my cup of tea
Oh
time.
look, Brew turns up. Typical.
I know, a
Me,
bit late,
nothing.
bit late.
Also, I think as well, it's important to realise that perhaps if you're doing, when we've looked at some of the reviews recently from Trumpeter and things like that, the decals are crap. It doesn't actually say anything. It's just generic blurb. Sometimes I'd rather not use it than using those because it's so small. It's just like X's, tiny little X's in a row to make it look like it would be writing and stuff. If it's that small and you can't read it, I probably won't put it on. But there again, if it's something where it's quite important, obviously, you can see it in real life. You're looking at your references and it stands out like a sore thumb. Warning, intake. Then obviously they're going to go on. But all the little writing ones you're hardly going to see and stuff like that, it hasn't. Other times though, perhaps if you got something in a natural metal finish, you're going to see them no matter what, because it's not like they're going to fade away or be, painted over and stuff like that. So pretty important to do those if it's on a natural metal finish area, things like that. But again, picking your aircraft, some have more than others. Some hardly have any decals on them. Others are absolutely covered in them. And again, even with MiGs, some countries hardly have any stencil data on them whatsoever, but other countries, they cover them in them. So again, it's depending on the markings you're actually doing.
Yeah, I did a pair of, well, one mainly, Eddard's Phantoms, the F4B, and the day calls were brilliant. Even the little stencil there, you could read every single word. And that, I don't know, because I put the majority of them, because it basically had every panel one. It told you what each panel was, and I just think they looked amazing on there. And I think if they are that good a day call, and depending on, like, obviously the Phantoms, the light grey, they really stand out and they make it, I don't know, they just make it look more detailed, really add to the model. So it's kind of just take each model and think, well, is that got to benefit the overall look of the model? And if it's not, don't bother using it. It's like with photo etch, isn't it? If it's not going to improve it, don't use it.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a great believer in that. Like you say, same thing with photo etch. If you like rudder pedals, can't see it, they don't go in. They don't exist. Okay, Malcolm says, hi Phil and Steve, great seeing these live shows. You guys do some inspiring work, and a big thank you. Just one question, with the release of Airfix's 172nd Flying Fortress, will you be reviewing this £30 kit? Many thanks, Mac. Yes, I'll probably pick one up at Telford, to be honest. Next at the weekend I will grab one, and I will probably have a review up next week, something else like that. I intend to get the Warhawk as well, because everyone keeps banging on about it. So we'll get one of them as well.
I must admit, I do fancy the Warhawk. That does look really nice. It's nice.
Yeah. Because apparently nobody's ever built a good one yet, have they?
No.
Every time anyone releases one, everyone's like, oh, the floor's wrong, this is wrong, that's wrong. So it'd be interesting to see how they've done that one as well. As I say, I'm not a rivet counter, but definitely be nice to have a look at that one.
I've already placed my order for the 32nd Eddard one? Eddard P47 that's coming out.
Is it a new tool, or is it a
They're using
Hasegawa one?
The Hasegawa one, and then
right,
adding all their bits and pieces.
All
so
the bits to it. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, and
Yeah, really nice.
our suppliers ordering loads of them, so we're all right.
Oh, is it? Oh, I might have one of them as well. Yeah, give him a nod from me. Give him a nudge at the weekend. Okay, so Eleanor says, good afternoon, gents. I've been a member for a few years, but it's my first ever post on the forum, apart from voting in the polls. I'm trying to dabble in scratch building and is wondering how to cut brass tube so you don't damage it at the ends. Do I need a special tool? I mostly build 172nd aircraft and 148th military vehicles, so the tubing I'm using is a very small diameter. Love the shows. I learned so much from you both, and also from the members in the forum. The variety of models and juniors on this site is great. I won't be able to watch the show live, but I hope to catch up with it later, probably on the train on the way home. Right, okay. Funny enough, somebody posted up about this the other day, didn't they? I don't know if it was on Facebook or something else, but Trumpeter do this little mini saw. It's like a mini chop saw that's USB powered, and it's designed for cutting brass tube. Because the trouble is with brass tube, if you try and cut it with anything, it crumps the end and they just crumple down. But what you can actually do is, there's a little mini saw and it's got the little discs on it, and you put your tube in and you bring it down and it's USB powered and it cuts it, and do it that way. You can do. The other one is just to buy yourself a very fine sawed hacksaw blades. They do it in various different thicknesses. You can get a very fine one, and to do that, and if you get yourself a soft sponge or soft rubber surface, like a cutting mat, a mouse mat, you can actually depress it in there, hang it off the edge, and then cut it, and it will grip it slightly and stops it sliding off. The other way is to use like a Dremel. You know, you can put it into a vise and just cut it with a Dremel to take the end off, because the thing is, what happens if it's any type of thickness, if you're cutting it even with a saw, you can actually bend it and crumple the ends. But if you're using like a saw, you know, a little mini saw, you know, a Dremel with one of those little discs on the end, it should cut it pretty cleanly. So if you want a nice chop saw, but as I say, Trumpeter do one, this little tool, I don't know how much it is. I might invest in one, to be honest. It looks to be quite dinky, but it's USB powered, so it's only 5 volt, and then you just put your tube in and then chop down. I haven't actually got any Trumpeter things. You know, if you buy a kit, you get the little tool guide and all the rest of it. It's normally on that. But yes, hold on, I might be able to, I don't know how this will work. I've never tried this before. Hold on, let me just try this. I don't even know what you call it.
I just can't remember where I saw it, but you can get it for the modelling industry thing, and it's the proper little, like, you know, like plumbers use, cutting tubes, pipes,
Yeah.
where you put it in and it cuts around the outside so it doesn't squash it. And I saw
Yeah,
one that
I know
you can
you
get for the
want. Yeah.
modelling. You can get one for modelling purposes, but I can't remember where I saw it.
God, I can't see it now.
And that's
to do one. Trumpy do one as well. Mini. I don't know how you describe it. How would you describe it? Disc cutter.
yeah, disc cutter, pipe bending, pipe cutters, disc cutter, cutting tool.
Yeah. It's a little tiny thing. I saw. There it is. That's the one. There it is. Right, that's the one. So what it is, you put your pipe in, and it's little USB powered. Has anyone got any more pictures of it? That's what I was looking for. Whose site is this? Let's give somebody a free advert. There we go. But yeah, that's the one. And it's say you got this little thing here. It's probably better that picture we had before, to be honest, isn't it? Let's go back to that one. So yeah, you pop your pipe in, and it comes in here. And you can then, you've got a little guide for your sizes and all the rest of it, and it comes with spare blades, and all you do then is just drop this down here and it will cut it. And you can put in different various thicknesses of pipe and it will grip it, because this thing is like a gripper, and it's like on a spring, so you pull this back, your pipe comes in and it will hold it in place as you cut it, and then you've got your little sizes, which I believe is centimetres down here, which will tell you exactly how far you've got your tubes apart. But you say it plugs in your USB, so if you've got, like I've got on my bench, I've got a multi plug thing with 4 USB sockets in as well, so that's what I'll plug everything into. You can do it that way. So there we go, you need one of them. That will do the trick. Right. There we go, Eleanor. That helps. Okay, so Paul Hart. Hi, Phil and Steve. I've just bought the Revel Mosquito. It's the old kit with raised panel lines. What is the best way to convert it to recessed panel lines? Build it first or separate? I think it will make a good tutorial showing how to make old kits up to date. Also, there'd be a place to get the info on rescribing it. I have thought of searching for blueprints for the accuracy. Yeah, somebody actually posted up about blueprints for aircraft on the forum the other day. I did notice that one. Yeah, it's a great kit. Personally, I would rescribe it separately first. It's easier to have it flat. You can do the parts, then put it together and do it. There is hold on, if we go back over to here again, and we'll just go here. If you go over to here and when you go tutorials, I think people forget that this is even here. Okay, down in here, we've got all the videos, all right, on this. So somebody was the other day was asking about basic modeling and all the rest of it. Just to recap, if you go into here, okay, if you just pop in here, you see, and then you can see all about it. So we talk about tools in there, and somebody was on about if we did like a basic kit, it'd be good getting back to showing how people. I did a full run through on multiple kits all about it, and it's all in there. So it is all here, guys. You just have to literally have a little look-see for it. Anyway, into tutorials. And then if you go to rescribing, you will see we've got our rescribing tutorial talking about the tools, how to, and all the rest of it. That's all in there. But also we got in here rescribing raise details, and then down in here, the sound, you will see. Oh, look, it says we're online now. Look, that's clever. I've never known it do that. But anyway, down in here, I just skip along a bit if I can get this. Pushing its luck doing everything at once. But there we go. We talk about how I sound off the lines first. You can still see them, and then you go back in and rescribe the entire thing. And we talk about it all on this video, and I show it in glorious Technicolor. There we go, and how to do it, and all the bits and pieces right the way through. Okay, so I have done a full tutorial video all about it, and about re-riveting, which is, to be honest, my old way of doing it. I've now used Rosie the Riveter in there, and everything else like that. So we took an old 70-second kit and rescribed it, basically. So there is one on that. Have a look in there and you will see it, all about it. But definitely, if I was doing it, I would do the parts off, build it, and then you can just take care of the joins, because you are going to have the odd fit issue with that kit, having built it myself many moons ago. So you are going to be out with the fillers and things, and that way you can just join up from when you get going with them all. Okay, so Donald says, hi Phil and Steve, very much enjoying the live shows, and thank you for making yourselves available for questions. You and the team are a true credit to the hobby, and we are fortunate that you are willing to give us so much of yourselves to help others. Thank you. No problem at all. My question is this, in regard to your recently acquiring the 1/48 scale Bell X1 Matchbuster, can we look forward to a review of this kit in the near future? Also, what colour manufacturer orange would you recommend for the Bell X1? Hold on, I have it down here. This is what we're talking about from one of the vlogs. I had a delivery in and showed it. To be honest, I haven't got a clue. Review, definitely. I will review it because it's an older kit, but it'd be nice to have a look at it. And as I say, it's a kit that I am going to do. As for colour call out, I haven't got the foggiest. I haven't even looked in there yet, and I wouldn't know where to start. Obviously, it's going to be an orangey colour, but it looks like it's a funny one. I'll tell you what, just for you. Crikey, is that it? Have you seen it? I know I normally do these things like this, but I was expecting a little bit more than that in a box. That's it. Tiny. So look, you do get, look, nice bit of photo etch. This is what we love about the Protobacks. We've got the wheels, we've got a mask set, nice set of decals. But look at it, that is it. Nothing, is it? Right, okay. Yes, I was expecting, if I'm honest, something a bit more than that. I know it's not much to the kit, but really? Okay, the colour call out they are giving is, they're just saying H14, which is just orange, which, oh, I haven't got them here anymore, they're down there. So that would be, okay, H14, just standard orange they're saying, but I wouldn't have thought it would have worked like that.
I don't know, you could probably use what you've got left of that international orange we got for the Dolphin.
Yeah.
Maybe add a touch of white to it, something just...
Yeah, just lighten it a little bit.
Yeah.
See, they're saying Humbrol number 18, but it's just saying gloss orange. Was it literally just gloss orange? I have got X6 gloss orange up there in my things. We've also got, what else have we got? Yeah, that's it. It's the only orange I've got. I have got, which I think it'd probably be too rusty colour, which is 130, which actually doesn't look too bad a colour, that. Might be able to work with that. Which is like a rust orange and various things. I was looking what else we've got, orange wise. Definitely a little bit odd there. But yeah, you would have thought it'd have been a bit more than that, if I'm honest. There we go, sneak peek of the kit. Looks very nice, I must say. But yes, I intend to do that one because I've got the X15 as well somewhere, which I want to do that one next year. So the idea is that they all go together in their little world of stuff. Right, okay, so Where are we? Peter says, hi Phil and Steve, just watching the daily vlog, and you were saying about Hans, sorry, Steve and Hans were looking to get more involved in filming. Yeah, see, I've dropped you all in it now. Of their builds, which sounds like a great idea. I've been watching your YouTube channel for what seems like forever now, and I'll be a hard ask for anyone to match the way that you present your builds. You certainly have become a polished act when it comes to hosting a show, unlike some YouTube who never seem who near send me to sleep. Why not put out feelers and get the members involved by submitting some clips of their own work? Doesn't have to be the whole build, but maybe a small tutorial or more involved techniques, especially some of the more experienced modelers on the forum, which have so much more to offer the community. Would be great to give them the opportunity of sharing their knowledge of the hobby with us all. I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but you might find that some of the members are natural in front of the cameras. It'd be great to have the team of regular contributors who could cover the different genres, like the more specialised side of modelling, dioramas, photo etch, scratch building, and also some different techniques involved with armour, shipbuilding, aircraft, cars, figures, bikes, sci-fi, etc. Not that I'm putting my hand up, I have no experience, but it's just an idea. As always, keep up the great work. Thank you in advance for filming the Telford show this week, as I never get a chance to go there. Yes, we'll be there. I'll be taking the cameras round, so if you are on a stand and you see me going past, give us a wave. Yeah, as I said, the big thing with it is I don't want to pressurise people into doing it. It is a massive commitment to start to film your builds and all the rest of it. And yes, there's loads of people out there in YouTube world who go out, and as I said, YouTube is absolutely flooded with people doing it. There is some great people out there. We've got some great people on the forum who do it as well, and everything else like that. But as I said, I just don't want to put pressurized people to do it, because you know what happens as soon as somebody does one, people want more of it, and it can get onto you. And it's not easy because of the editing that goes involved and all the rest of it. You know, I sit here, well, wish I did, all day long did it, but as you say, I just don't want to put the pressure onto the guys. So when we said about the guys doing it as well, we said, yeah, just take your time, a few little bits and pieces as and when, and that's what members are going to have to realise, that with me it's a little bit different. I will produce and give you as much content as I possibly can, but as I say, for the guys who aren't, then obviously it's a little bit different. But you're going to have a go, aren't you, Steve?
I am indeed, yeah. Should be jolly good fun.
As I say, it has to be fun. The big thing is, as soon as it doesn't become fun, the novelty factor goes out the window straight away, and that's what I don't want to happen to the guys and with the team and everything else. They work hard enough as it is without people then saying, oh, when are we going to see part 2 of that video, you know, because as I say, they've got lives and everything else involved with it and bits and pieces. As for other members and that, you know, then yeah, absolutely, you know, if anybody wants to do a little video for us and all the rest of it, then let us know. Obviously we would have to set up some rules about it, how it's going to work, how it's going to be, and everything else like that. Because, as I say, we've got enough problems with people then leaving the site and then wanting all their content removed and stuff like that. So, you know, that can be a bit of a headache when it is on our forum as well and on our site, and if it's going to be on our YouTube channel, how that's going to work and everything else like that. So, but yeah, something we can definitely think about for the future.
I've got to say, it'd be nice to bring back, if people are up for it, where they just film their cave. So remember, we used to have that. People used to send in videos of this is what my cave looks like. And that was really, really interesting. But it started off well and then just petered out. But it would be nice.
Yeah,
you know,
it's that thing. You know, if you've got footage like that, as I say, the easiest way is if you ever want to get videos to us, and it's something I'd like to make a little bit more interactive, as we said, on the live shows and things like the turkey shoot and stuff like that we're going to do, is that upload it to your YouTube channel, your one, and then what I can do is I can go and grab it and put it over to ours. You see, I can scrape your video and just nick your video in theory, put it onto ours, and then I can queue it up and show it. The trouble I have is YouTube has this big issue about copyright and showing other people's videos and stuff like that. So what would happen is, if I used your video just for argument's sake and used it on mine, and then I can get a copyright strike against me for showing it live on air and stuff like that. It's incredibly difficult. That's why, like with our music and stuff like that, we have to buy it. We have to physically pay for it. Otherwise, it's a nightmare, you know, and stuff like that. So from that point of view, it's just the copyright laws and everything else come into play when I know everyone's got the best interests at heart and all the rest of it. But down the line, if you imagine we had to pull a video because it's got somebody's clip on it and they're claiming copyright onto it, it's a hassle I can do without, and stuff like that. So from that point of view, you know, we'd have to have some ruling where you sign your life away and say I can use it and all the rest of it to be able to do it. Okay, so Grant says, hi Phil and Steve, I have a question about Zappa Gap. CA glue. I use the medium viscosity green label, and it's great stuff, but have yet to get to the bottom of the bottle, as the spout gradually clogs up no matter how careful I am about cleaning it. I even tried the brush non-spill one, as you've got, but eventually it fouled up. The non-spill action became stuck and her to the lid. Great, so that means you can't get it out. Again, I'm being careful as possible. Do you guys have any experience, or is it just me? It is that thing. Mine is doing it. Where is mine? Who's had mine? My lid, if you see it, doesn't sit. It still works amazingly, but mine is getting thick as well now. That's why I highly recommend, and I know the lads will take the piss when we were doing the live thing, but I just buy the little ones now, because then they almost become disposable, because after a couple of months they go off. And what was happening when I was using the big glues, the big version of this, it loses its bite and it just becomes a mess. So I'm thinking, if you buy tiny little bottles, you can just have them in your drawer cupboard, and when it gets a bit crappy, you bin it, and you've only lost 20p or whatever it is. Okay, so you know, that way it's not so bad as having a £5 bottle you continuously throwing out every couple of months and things like that. So the smaller ones you can get, this is the little 7-gram one, or the quarter fluid ounce one, but if you can get the tiny little ones, and then it's almost a disposable item and it's not so much of a big thing when you have to bin it. Okay, but definitely, the reason I use the big ones, I'll be honest, when we had our store, we had this, you know, the big store, we used to buy boxes of the stuff because we used to go through tons of it every week, where people used to buy it. But now, and I've been using up the remnants of all that stock, but now I'm pretty much to the end of it. I'm just going to use the little bottles.
Yeah.
Steve, how do you use yours?
Well, I've got, first of all, I used to like Vital Bond medium glue, even though it was big bottle, and that's it. It's thick as anything. You just can't, unless you're doing something really big, it's just pointless buying big bottles. You know, that's not even, I don't know if you can notice that, but it's not even moving.
No, that's it.
I have to take the label off. You can see.
Hold on, I'll make you big.
I've put my hand behind it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
You see at the top,
it's just solid.
Yeah. It's just like a thick gel, and again, you try and screw in it, and that happens.
Yeah.
Which is why it led to me when I accidentally I used to have accelerator in a glass bottle that you put on with the brush, and that's how I accidentally put it in the wrong bottle. And I briefly put it in, even though I took it out, and then I just put lid on, and that's how it kind of exploded. Smoke. So, honest to God, it just blew the sides out of it. It's pointless, and you know, it's not even moving. It's an absolute waste. If you look how much, it's just a waste of money. I now use Rocket Rapide, which is for me, it's the best super glue there is. And I've tried a lot, but it's all keeping the top clean. If you get, when you've used a drop, and whether it's with your fingers, just wipe any excess super glue off before you put your lid back on, and then the little needle point that's in the top of the lid will go into the hole and keep it open. Now and again, when it does block up at the top, I use an old airbrush needle to apply my super glue, And the beauty is, if it ever clogs up, I can use the needle then and just push it into the top, and it'll
Yeah.
just go straight down. If it's really tough, you just push it in as far as you can go, and then just get it on the edge of your bench and just dab it like that, and it'll break it. But
Cool.
yeah, small bottles are the way to go. You think that because I use a lot, 20 gram bottles, the biggest I'll ever buy now.
Yeah.
That's just a waste of money.
No, I think the thing is, if you're like a resin guy and you're using super glue every day of your life, then yeah, have a bigger bottle. But for me, I go through very little of it these days, so I must admit that's why I'm thinking the smaller bottles are cheaper and it's more disposable. The only other option, if you want something like that, those click pen ones that just deliver a tiny dot of it each time, they're quite handy because they don't gum up or play up and all the rest of it. But you know, as I say, a bit expensive. We've got to try that Loctite stuff yet. Keep saying it. I haven't picked any up. I'm gonna have to go down B&Q and get some. Right.
Well, you want to be
Okay.
careful that because I bought and I just one application and the lid just welded shut and there was no way you were
Yeah.
getting it off. So at
Yeah.
least
Right.
with these ones, well, you can't really with this one. You know, if the lid sticks, you've had it, especially at the
Because
bottom.
the Tamiya little one. Hold on. If I go, where are we?
You need it so if the tube, the applicator top part sticks, at least it'll unscrew and you can still stick something in there to get it to your glue.
That's the one. Right. So Tamiya do.
You know
New
something, Phil? I might
images.
take that to Telford and put it on your chair. In fact, we'll put it on Mel's chair. I'm
Yeah.
going
And
to say
if you
that
want
is that thick. She's never getting up again. That'd be so.
yeah, and if you want to die,
I
I
know. Well,
used to
that's
use these. This is the Tamiya little click one. Shame it's not a bigger image. Hold on, perhaps. No, it's 400. Is there not a bigger image of it? No,
I
it's a
used to
small
have one
image
of
of
them.
it.
Yeah, don't know if it's still got it.
500, 500. There we go. I used to use this. What happens is in the needle, in the top here, on the end cap, there's actually a needle, and it's permanently stabbing the front, so it doesn't ever get stuck. But all it is a little click, and you press it, and it clicks once, and you get one drop of super glue, and you get these little pointers with it as well. I used to use these things religiously, and then I found another company who obviously make them for Tamiya because it has their own label on, and really they were quite cheap. And I used to use those, but for one of those reasons, I just don't use it again. Don't know why I stopped using it, but yeah, those are really good as well. If you want a safely way of doing it, because the great thing with those is if you got something, it's like click, puts a little bubble just on the end, and then you touch it, and it's done. And then that way you bung the lid on. It's got a needle. It keeps it all clean and sharp. Again, I think there are only like 5 grams of super glue in it, so you're not going to be doing like some welding jobs with it because there's not enough. But it definitely does the trick.
Was it one of these, Phil?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me make you
I've
full
just looked.
screen.
Yeah, I've just lost the end of it. I just dropped it, but it's a little.
Yeah, that's it.
It's got a
And it
little point
clicks
there.
when you
You
press it.
squeeze it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
when you open it up, you just put your little tube in the back of super glue.
that's
But
it.
I
Yeah.
found out that I stopped using it because it an expensive way of buying super glue, and also it just clogged up
Yeah, but
and
if you look
it
in the
all
cap,
dried
there's
up.
a needle in there.
There
There should
was.
be in the. There was. Oh, right, is it gone? There used to be
No,
a
they
needle.
never
There
asked
used.
me.
Oh, well, the one I had used to have a needle in the end. I was saying, I'm going back, so probably 5, 6 years now, but they used to have a little needle in the end, and it used to keep it clean. It's like a steel needle. But yeah, used to be quite a handy little tool, really. Okay, Steve Knight. Hi Phil. Not sure if this has been asked before, but I did some searching and found nothing, so I do apologise if it's been mentioned before. I'm seriously considering ordering a batch of MR paints, but I also need some good metallic paints. So I was thinking about getting some off the AK Extreme Metals. This would involve inevitably meaning that I would have to purchase from 2 different suppliers. And being in New Zealand, that doesn't help with shipping and postage. So it would help if I could order from one supplier. Now, I already have been in contact with Merrick at HM Hobbies, but he can't ship to New Zealand. But the guys on the main Mr. Paint Slovak website can. Also, have previously used both, as you have previously used both the AK Extreme Metals and the MRP paint metals, my question is, would you suggest that I go straight to the MR paint metallics, or are the AK Extreme Metals a lot better and worth the extra effort? I have a Tamiya 137 Mustang to do, so this would be my preferred application for the metallics. Thanks as usual to you and the Flory models team for what you're doing. Keep it up. Right, okay, we said about this before. The thing is, the extreme metals are really easy to use. They are literally idiot proof, because as long as you don't flood it, and even if you do, they tend to come back at you, give a beautiful, nice metal finish, no matter how you spray. So it doesn't tend to be a little bit more as finicky, perhaps, as Alclad and other metal finishes. So it's more akin to spraying an acrylic. You just basically chuck it down and away you go. That said, the MRP stuff is really nice. It sprays down beautifully. I've only used it a little bit doing the Gundam bits, but it works really, really well. But you do have to be a little bit careful with it. You want to put down nice light coats, bring it up very slowly, low air pressure, so we're saying like 10 psi, 12 psi max, nice and close, gentle half trigger pulls, and bring it up. So you do have to be a little bit more careful with it. Fors and against. For the MRP paint, it's as hard as nails. It's almost impossible to rub this stuff off. It's not like Alclad, which is really finicky and you can rub through it very easily. The MRP stuff does tend to be really, really strong. Once it's on, it's on. But you have to be a bit careful how you put it down. The extreme metals, very soft. You can rub through them very, very easily. So they're going to need protecting, overcoating, and minimal handling, but they go down really easy. So the way I weigh it up is, if you're used to spraying Alclads and finicky metal finishes and you have no problem with it, then go out and buy the MRP ones, because they're really nice paints and they work a treat. If you struggle spraying Alclads and metal finishes and all the rest of it, get the extreme metal ones, because they go down a treat, and it doesn't, you've got a lot more playing room. You don't have to be so precise. You can just chuck it down and it works. It comes back at you. That'd be my thing. Have you tried yours yet, Steve? Have you got any of the MRP ones yet?
No, that I didn't get any of the metallic ones, but yeah, I've used the paint. Fantastic.
Because the metallic goes down just like the paint. So if you use it in the same way, you have no problems with it, i.e. low air pressure, nice and close, good coverage, goes down a treat. But I do like the extreme metals. To be honest, I have both. And I can't see myself getting rid of the extreme metals because they're so easy to use. So I've got a quick job, I want to chuck down metal finish, that's what I'll do, okay? But if it's something a little bit more refined, a bit more delicate, like the Gundam thing, then I'll use the MRPs and do it that way. And to be honest, with this guy down here, what I'm going to do is, the underside's obviously aluminium, I'm going to use the MRPs on it, just because I'm going to use MRP on the top half as well. So it'll be a total MRP paint job, the first time I've used everything with it, and we're going to see how it gets on with that. So yes, so really there's no right or wrong to it, that's what we're saying. Keeping options open. But yeah, definitely.
Right, the next one, it took me a bit figuring out where the comment was.
Right.
Because
is it?
Yeah, he didn't put it underneath the box, but he basically says, "Thank you for your help. What I learned from in your forum inspires me, and flat out makes me a better modeler. For your information, sometimes I paint on the sprue."
Oh right, okay.
That's from Kevin, who asked the question about the tinting the canopy to be like the F22. So it took a bit of working out where it was.
Yeah, because it does look like he's just reposted it again.
Yeah.
Right, okay, no problem. Robert says, "Hi, Phil and Steve, really enjoying your Tuesday show. It's always interesting and the full and wonderful modelling tips. My question is about air compressors. The motor in my 2-year-old Pache DC600R just gave out on Sunday. The compressor will not pressurised and the air tank to 30 psi. It sounds like a lawnmower with a bad spark plug. Drained the air tank a week ago and the black substance came out the tank. Looked like carbon or rubber, along with little rusty fluid. Yesterday contacted Pache and they said they don't do repairs. They recommended I buy a new system, about $220. Do you have any recommendations for a replacement system? I really like an air tank system. I have looked on Amazon and many other compressors to choose, but only a few with air tank systems under $200. It looks like most compressors are made by the same manufacturer in China based on similar features. What are your thoughts? As always, happy modelling, Robert. Actually, they all come out of one factory in Taiwan, I found out, because that's where Sparmax are, and Sparmax make them for everybody, basically, or it seems like it. I like the HT, what is it? The TC610.
610. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what, hold on, I might be able to get it out here. Here's my backup. To be honest, I use the 620 for my daily runner, but hold on, I might be able to get it out. Oh, no, not quite, it's plugged in. Typical. Forget that. I'll never be able to unplug it if you buried. But yeah, which is, hold on, let me do a quick thingy here. Hold on. If we go to everything airbrush. Okay, now don't forget you get 10% here, everybody.
Yeah, in America, just while you look, Phil, I'm just looking at on the Amazon site in America, and they only do the TC620, which is the bigger version, which is at $264. So
yeah, which is what I've got. Now, these two here are the ones that I've got. I run this as my daily runner these days, which is all it is. It's exactly the same, apart from it's got twin piston instead of a single, which basically means it fills up quicker, but it doesn't. This is the thing. It's a load of rubbish. Because we did a side-by-side comparison. There's videos on this. I have both of them. We emptied both. We filled them both up. The 610 is still faster. And technically better than the 620. The only thing is, because the 620 is a twin piston system, there's not as much pressure or draw on the motor as you would find on the single piston one, because the single piston one runs at a higher rate, obviously quicker. The twin piston runs slower, so it's not as much draw, if you like, or pressure on that one motor. But I would always go for the 610. So that's the one you want to go for, which is this one here, which is 166 quid. But again, it's that thing where obviously members, you will get 10% off of here. So just go into that area and you'll see it. But as I say, I've got mine in there. And I used it for 6 years, no problem at all, and it's still fine now, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely fine. But you say you'll get 10% off of that again. You might be able to find it in the States, but you know, if you're in the States, with the way that the pound is at the moment, you probably get a really good deal. You know, buying from the UK and even having it shipped over, you'll probably do all right. So yes, that would be my recommendation. Don't get the other one, don't get the 620, because the 620 you're paying more for something that does exactly the same thing. That would be my thing. But yeah, Sparmax are in Taiwan and they supply everybody. Which compressor you got, Steve?
I got the 610
You got a
Sparmax.
610?
Yeah, and it just runs and runs. I do have the iWater spring as well, which that's to be honest, it doesn't have a tank, but it just keeps going and going. It's a really, really good compressor, and it's so quiet. You just can't hear it when it's running compared to the Spar. The Sparmax is a lot noisier.
Yeah,
But if you're going for the tank, yeah, Sparmax every day. It's a little workhorse.
It is. You think I have my other one? I had a is it Ripmax 5 litre one that I used for donkey's years. But that every 2 years the bearings would go, and it's the bearings on the piston. And it was easy to fix, and I ended up used to do it myself, take the front end off, because the bearings would collapse, it's needle bearings, and they just blow up and be everywhere. So I'll take it down to my local bearing place, they stick another one in that, they charged me a fiver for it, and press the bearing onto the piston thing itself, and away we went again. But it's say every 2 years it used to do it, to the point where I bought a load off of them and used to do it myself when the vice at home, to change the bearings over. Because it was just easier to do that. But that thing, no problem with that at all. They're obviously sealed units. They'll work so much better. Okay, so Peter says, afternoon gents, a quick one for Telford. How do you get involved with the evening meal? All the best. Ta-ta for now. Evening meal, we are in, what's it called? The pub? Can't remember.
Beefeater,
It's the Beefeater at Telford Central train
near the
station.
railways. Yeah.
It's literally right next door to the railway station, and we are in there. We used to have, to be honest, we were slightly different this year because what we had was us all together. The trouble with that was there was 30 of us last year or whatever it was, and the food took forever because they had to prepare 30 of everything, and quite frankly, we didn't get out of there till 11:30 from eating because it took so long. So what we said this time we would do is if everyone books their own table. And so if everyone tries to eat, during the evening, we're always going to be in the pub end of it anywhere, and we'll do it like that because it will just be quicker and easier. Because otherwise, we all sat there for literally hours to get through it all.
They have this stupid policy as well that with large tables, I'll tell you how when I book the tables, if we'd have wanted a table of 12, we'd have had to wait till about 9:30 on Saturday night before they'd give us a table. So it's not. So if you think big time that, and that happened last year, and we weren't eating as mains till 10:30.
I know, yeah.
And it's too late, so we've had to have two tables just for us. It's stupid how they do it, but this way everybody can get eaten, and we can all go down the pub end of the table and spend the Beefeater, and we can all sit around there and have a good old chinwag.
Yeah, so that'll be it. So we'll be in there probably both days, Friday and Saturday, from about 7 o'clock, 7:30 onwards. And then obviously you'll see us down there, grab yourself some food, all the bits and pieces. And as I say, we're all going to be hanging around. Trust us, we take over that place, pretty much. There's not a lot of room for anyone else in there. So both days, Friday and the Saturday, you can meet us all in there. We'll be in there. So it's the Beefeater, Telford Central, by the train station. Literally, it just looks at the train station because we're in the Premier Inn next door. Okay, so Tim Townsend, hi Phil and Steve, working from home today, so a rare chance to watch the Q&A. I have the Tamiya Fairy Swordfish float plane to build. I want to do it in the Fleet Air Arm camo scheme of extra dark sea grey and slate grey. The former is not a problem as guns do it in their range, but other than extra colour, do you know who does slate grey? Hope you enjoy Telford. Unfortunately, I can't make it this year. Tim, slate grey, everyone does that, don't they? I thought. Or am I talking rubbish? Which is probably true. Slate grey. Hold on. See, look, I might have me paint charts, but I still go back to my old faithful. No, that's US. Hold on, UK.
Right, slate grey. MRP paints do slate grey. They do two versions. 116 is light slate grey. 117 is dark slate grey.
Cool. Right, so we want navy, isn't it, from Ocean Mid Azores, extra dark, sea grey. So extra colour do it is X25, and then they are saying it's a bit of a mix with everybody else. They're saying Tamiya, if you do a mix of XF11 and XF63, Humbrol, well, that's all over the place to make that one up. Federal standard number on there, giving Steve. I don't know if it's got the FS number with those as well, but it's 340696. 34096. I don't know if it says it for it. Medium dark, extra sea, ocean grey, light green, light earth, light grey, navy blue, grey. Sorry, what was the number for MRP for it?
116 and 117. One's light, one dark. MRP range.
Yeah, I've got
for RAF Navy starts at 107 upwards.
Yeah. Obviously, they'd need a damn good thing, but you can see the differences between the blue. Look, that's the differences between them. But they'll need a damn good mix-up, as you can see. But yeah, that's the ones for those. If you want to go down the MRP range for it. So yeah, definitely a bit different with those. Yeah, light slate grey, dark slate grey. Yeah, apart from that, it does actually. I thought slate grey, everyone would do it, but apparently not. Bit of a weird one, that I must admit. Bit different. Where are we? Okay, so yeah, MRP, or it looks like you're going to be mixing. Bit of a pain, that one. Doesn't Tamiya give out a colour mix in their version, or is that what they say? Yeah, it looks like they're trying to make a 63. Trying to make a greeny slate grey, aren't they? Out of German grey and green. So, okie dokie. So yeah, sorry we can't be a bit more help there, Tim. Right, Paul Roberts. Hi Phil and Steve. I'd like to ask if you can give advice on where to get Ducati paint. Hold on, we did that one. He's obviously reposted that one. Right, we covered that right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Joe Dunn. Hi Phil and Steve. I recently bought a replacement nozzle for my Neo airbrush. The thing is that the O-ring snapped off. It literally twisted whilst I was cleaning it. I was cleaning it out. I can't spray it properly. I wanted to find out if you can get solely replacement O-rings, as I can't afford to buy another nozzle altogether. Thanks again, Joe. To be honest, I don't know about those ones. I know they're very thin on there because they're extremely cheap. That's the Ultra.
You should be able to buy them somewhere, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I should think you should be able to buy them. I don't know quite what they're like on this. Don't know, does the nozzle have an O-ring as well, does it? Because there's not one on the actual thing itself. I assume perhaps the nozzle has it. I haven't got my tool handy to try and get that off, but yeah, I'd have a look around for it. Somebody must do just the O-ring, I would have thought. So yeah, have a word with your whoever you bought it from and see if they can do a nozzle for the actual needle, sorry, the O-ring for it.
I think you can get a nozzle packing O-ring for the Neo CN BCN from airbrushes.com, and it'll cost you £5.50 including VAT for the O-rings.
Crikey, for an O-ring? Christ.
This is the offers a quality Viton O-ring, non-official part to fit the nozzle, so it's got to be probably a lot stronger than the normal.
That's why I like Harder and Steenbeck, because
Yeah.
they're Teflon. They don't break. I don't think I've ever replaced a nozzle seal in my life. Okay, Jerry says, G'day Phil and Steve. I have a question about you monetizing your videos. I often have a choice to watch your videos or watch them directly from the Flory Models website, and then on the Today page. Click on the video and watch it there. I can also go on YouTube and watch your video there. My third choice is to click on the link on Facebook page and watch through the Facebook link. All three give the end user good quality video. What I'm wondering is, do you monetize the eyeball count on your YouTube page? If so, is it better if we all look at the videos through the YouTube page? Jerry. To be honest, Jerry, we don't make any money through those. The adverts that get put on there, I only started putting them on about a year ago, and that's only for the ones which are free to the general public. And as I say, I think we earn, to be honest, about $100 a month from monetization onto it. And to be honest, those tend to be like I did the Luke Skywalker blaster thing, that pretty much is the one that it comes in from. All the rest of it, you're talking pence, so I wouldn't worry about it. It's like the video count thing. If people watch videos off of our website, because it's an embedded, you don't get a post count from it. It's a bit like if you embed a video into Facebook, you don't actually get a video count from it. So it doesn't count you as a viewer that you've watched it. It's only people who watch it directly off the YouTube page get a count, and various things like that. So it's a little bit odd how they do it. P.S. Phil, the volume levels between you and Steve are much better on Saturdays. Today, a little quiet on your side. If you increase the volume to hear you better, Steve's screaming in my earpiece. Hold on, I can adjust this. It's quite handy to do this because if people tell me, then I can do it. But I can turn me up. Hold on.
I can turn me down from here.
Oh, I don't turn you down, I'll turn me up, and then that way we should know between. Right, there we go. I've done it a little bit louder. So, yeah, testing. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, let me know if that's any louder. Am I louder to you, Steve?
No, you sound fine to me, yeah.
Yeah.
But don't think I'll probably be getting a Skype call, aren't I? So I can just set me on
Yeah,
volume.
the thing is, I hear Steve via a Skype call, not for what you guys hear, so it's slightly different. Steve's embedded into our studio software, so I hear Steve via Skype. So to me, we sound the same, but to you guys, we might be a little bit different. But I've turned me up a bit. If you want me to go louder, say again, and that way you can dial us in between the two of us. But this is the type of thing we need to know because we will never know unless you say it. So. Okay, so William says, hi Phil, for Phil, we'd love to hear your thoughts about black basing technique. Have you tried it? If not, would you consider doing a quick test of the letters? We've been on this one, to be honest. As I say, one of the guys on the forum's done a great video on it and covers it perfectly well. Go and have a watch of that. Personally, for me, I don't like it. It's never really worked for me, but I know guys who love it. And like I say with the hobby, if it works for you, go for your life. It's a technique that was used in the 70s and 80s, and it was a big thing. Then it sort of died off for a bit, and it seems to have done a full circle and come back, like everything, like fashion. And again, if it works for you, go for it. Personally, I know you get guys and they say they don't like pre-shading because it looks fake and horrible. Personally, I've seen people do post-shading, and to me it looks awful. Because, you know, doing black basing, it's all very well get that marbly effect, but real aircraft don't have a marbly effect. Certain aircraft do. Navy aircraft, definitely. Black basing, I think, is a great technique. Go for your life. I prefer to do reshading afterwards. So, you know, your pre-shading is just something for doing the panel lines and to give contrast with a wash. The wash in the panel line needs something, otherwise it looks too plasticky and anime. So that's why I do it. I prefer to go round after even the wash is on with other colours. And you break it all up. So it's a little bit like filtering, for want of a better word, and do everything else like that. So, but again, it's literally personal choice. If you get on with it and it works for you and you love the effect, then go for yourself, knock yourself out. For me, it's just never worked. I just don't like the effect it gives. And again, it's just one of those things. I think it's something you can go all the way through and you do the sort of marbling and effect. Depends if you want that marbling effect. If you do want it, then definitely use it. But again, I've seen people do amazing bits of work and it's looking fantastic, and they go that one stage too far and they've lost it, and it's like all that work for that and you've got nothing left. So it's very easy to overdo it. But as I said, some guys have done some great stuff on the forum. Go and have a look at theirs. But personally, I think it's a lot of work for little reward. I prefer to go in afterwards with different shades, different colours, breaking up panels, and do it like that rather than, you know, going in and doing it. It just, I think you get more control over it by going around post painting and post shading in. So, you know, but as I said, you know, if it works for you, absolutely. Okay, Rob Lee, he says, hi guys, I'm in need of some new sounding sticks and would buy some Flory ones. I had a look on your website, I had a look on the site, but couldn't quite see what I was after at the time. Do you do a pack with one of each of the most commonly used sticks polishes? Well, we do the 3 sets. So if you wanted to do sort of 15 quid, if you do FMS 1, which is the sponge set, so you get one of each one. So you get the polisher, so you'll get one of them, and one of them. That's in the FMS 1 set, okay? And then if you do number 5, you'll get one of them, and what have we got? Green, blue, where's white? Got white here somewhere? I had it earlier. I even had it. A white one. So you'll get the coarse version of this as well. I don't know what I've done with it now. So you'll get one of each of those. And then if you do FMS 12, you get 2 of all the skinny range. So you'll get 2 of the blue skinnies, 2 of the white skinnies, 2 of the green skinnies. So that's medium, fine, coarse, double-sided as well. You get 2 of the skinny sponges ones, and you get 2 of the skinny polisher ones as well. And that's how that works. So you could do it that way if you wanted to, which is probably things cost you 15 quid, and you'll have, well, more than one of everything, and can do it that way.
I'll just buy the big pack, which will last you a long time.
Last you forever.
It would, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. If you do the
not
jumbo
forever.
pack,
You don't want it to last forever.
Well, they do.
But they'll
That's the
last
whole
you
point.
a long time, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so Steve says, hi Phil and Steve. Did you know that HM Hobbies are now selling Rosie the Riveter? Ordered mine and they are well priced. Have a good show. Yes, I did notice that. I think Merrick posted up about that, didn't he? Or someone did.
Yeah, and I remember chatting to him a few weeks ago when his paints first came out. Just after it came out, he gave us a phone call, we chatted, and he was telling me he just placed an order with them. So yeah, I think he's got other really good stuff in the pipeline as well. So
He has
keep
got some
taking
good
his time.
stuff.
Yeah, he's got the sort of stuff that we all want, but there's always been trouble getting it. So now he's sourcing it all and putting it together in the one place so that you can go and get it, which is really helpful.
It's almost like he's got my entire everything I use there, amazingly. I don't know how he does it. Where does he get his inspiration from?
I don't know. It does right though, because road to route, you're going all over, try to get from here, get from there, and it's trying to find them, and then you go somewhere and there's only one place that that sells them. They're out of stock. Well, where else do you go? But he's managed putting them all together under one roof, so that's good. That save you a fortune on postage and package as well.
Yeah, and it's great service as well. He's really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert says, question about reviews on sites and in magazines. After reading reviews on new kits and buying them myself, I've started thinking, often the reviews tell you that they are great and all that, but as a customer, buy the kit. It's full of warped parts, badly moulded in places. For an example, Revell's new ME 109 G6 132nd, my kit was so badly moulded clear parts that you couldn't even use them, and flash was on every part. So my questions are, so my question is, are reviewers like Hyperscale getting pick samples, because in my world that the kit is a piece of crap in comparison to the old Hasegawa kit. Reviewers should buy them in a store and review a sample that actually reaches the customer. Good question. I can't answer that because I don't know. Obviously, I've got loads of friends of mine who write for magazines and the various bits and pieces, and yes, they are sent the kits, and they are sent the kits that is usually sent to the editor, then the editor passes it on. Is it a picked kit, a custom kit, an early run kit? I have no idea on that one. Wouldn't like to say. But then I know other guys who do reviews and write for magazines, and they buy their own kit. Which I did when I did a bit of work for Airfix. It was always my kit. I was never given a kit, so and they were kits that I just bought off the shelf. So not sure on that one, I must admit.
But you do, when you read magazines, it's always, oh, these are fantastic kits, buy it, brilliant, best kit ever, and blah blah blah. And also you'll see whichever company it is, they'll have a full page advert later on in magazine. Well, they're not going to turn around and put up a review saying, well, it's crap.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. Kit if they're getting advertising from it. So, yeah,
I've got friends of mine that are on my Facebook and all that, and they'll probably be watching this and all the rest of it. And I often get a bit of flack from them as well because they'll turn around and say, "It's not like that, Phil. You don't know what you're talking about," and all the rest of it. They know as well as I do. I've worked for, written for, and everything else magazines before, and I've worked with other magazines before, and things like that. So I know how it all works. And I think the difference is that obviously the editors and the contributors and everything else like that, they're on one side of the fence, okay? But the thing is, the people who pay the bills and all the rest of it are on the other side of the fence, and they're there to make money. So there does have to be some sort of blurring of the lines between it. Now, you know, obviously the guys who I know, and I'm not going to mention them outright, they will tell me, hand on heart, that they never give a bad review or a good review purely on the basis of they're told to do it by the editor and all the rest of it, which I totally can go with. I'm sure they don't, because they'll be very honest about it. My point to it has always been, though, is that you never read in a magazine that this kit's crap and don't go and buy it, whilst there's a full-page advert for that manufacturer next to it. You know. So, and you could say, well, look, they're just trying to put a positive spin on everything, which is what, you know, technically we're all guilty of it. I do it as well, that you try and look for the best of a product. Like, you know, what was the last thing I reviewed that was crap? The Scribers, you know, and I'll be honest, MRP did come to me after it and wanted me to have a second look at the parts and the reasons they should be used and all the rest of it. But as I said, from an engineering point of view, because that's my background, the product doesn't fit, or is not fit for what it's used for, because we were talking about the larger wedged scriber. The thin one is perfect. The other one tears. It doesn't cut particularly well. But then apparently what you need to do is you rescribe with the thin one first, and then you put the wide one in after it. Well, that's great, but I've got scribers in there which I can just do in one pass, thick, wide, thin, doesn't matter, because the angles are obviously a bit better. So I'm just simply saying, from that point of view, I wouldn't buy that one because it doesn't do what I need it to do. You know, so from that point of view, that's why I do it. Now, would a magazine do that? I'm not sure. You know.
Yeah, they're good at highlighting the good points, but they won't. They're very, very poor at hiding the poor points. You know, highlighting the poor points of a kit. That's what you have to think. You know,
and don't get me wrong, like, you know, I could review certain things here and tell you they're crap and not to go out and buy them and all the rest of it. But if you need to put some perspective on anything. You know, sometimes it's lovely. You'll get something that will come along and it just works and it's beautiful and I can't find a fault with it. To be honest, like the MRP paint, and that's why I spent 400 quid redoing it and changing over to it, because it's a good product. I love it and I will give them my full backing. Okay. But if I had bought something else and it just doesn't work, to be honest, like the Steinel Res, it worked fine and then hold on, it doesn't work. So, you know, obviously I'm not going to then continue using a product that doesn't work and all the rest of it, and I'll be quite open with it. No, it doesn't work. But in the same process, I wouldn't buy something in and it's just crap full stop. You know, it's just either a blatant rip-off or it's a faulty product or it doesn't work or something else. Because from that point of view, there's no even point reviewing it. Because there needs to be some balance in a review. You need to give the good points and the bad points. So if it's just bad all the way, then, you know, I can't see the point of even telling people, you know, it's just crap. I'd just say, there's no point reviewing it, it's crap, just don't buy it. You know?
Well, that's where being independent and not having to worry about advertisers works in your favour. You can be honest with the product. When you're thinking of your advertisers, you just got to be a bit generous with the truth. You know, you have to be a bit. Just watch what you're saying. I think that's the problem with magazines.
And to be honest, I think also that's why I often get, and I still get, companies who would love to sponsor videos. I had one, to be honest, last week, and it was quite a large company, and they wanted to work with me to do a sponsored video. And that might work on some sites, but that doesn't work for me because people are not going to be paid to do an advert. And yeah, they were offering quite a lot of money, you know, to be honest, to do a sponsored advert. So it'd be a 30-minute video about their products and product line and all the rest of it, and I would sit here and sing the praises and all the rest of it. But what do I do if it's crap? You know, because now they're technically paying me to do it. So I can't just turn around and be crap because they're paying me, and they're not going to pay me if I'm going to say it's going to be crap. So from my point of view, it would never work.
And it's also, you've now got a name, build your reputation of being truthful, and people can now trust your opinion.
Yeah.
And if you start all of a sudden say, well, I'm going to work with this product, and you think it's crap, but you can't say, and you say, oh yeah, it's good as this, people will go out and buy it, and then they'll be thinking, well, what's going on here? It still the right pork, is it? And that'll affect your reputation in the long run. So you've got
It's
to be
always
very
amazed
careful.
me because I've had people and they've spoken to companies and said you ought to send Flory Models a review of this and this, that, and the other, and they won't because they're worried what I'll say. And I know that they've said no, we'd rather not. And I know what it is because they'll know I'll tell the truth about it and I'll be very honest with it. So it's easier for them not to do it. Now, if I go out and bite off my own back, they have got no control over that. But there is that double-edged sword to it as well, that people run the risk. If they send me something, they can send me it for nothing and I'll say I've been sent it, and then I could just tear their ass apart saying exactly what I feel about it, and it's crap and all the rest of it. So there is that double-edged thing about it, because I am always open that yes, you can send it to me, but be advised it will just be an honest review. So I have said things in the past, and I have been sent free things in the past, and I've never been sent another thing since, because perhaps I didn't give them the review they were hoping for, and that is what I've always said. But I like to physically, to be honest, I have trade accounts with pretty much everyone. So, that's why I can probably afford to buy a lot more kits than you realise, because I am getting trade prices on it. So from that point of view, I like to just go out and I just go shopping basically, and I'll say, right, I'm going to have one of them, 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 get them all in, and we can review them, and I don't have to worry about upsetting anyone. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what the manufacturers think. I care about the end user's point of view because I'm using it. So when I'm building a kit or when I'm doing anything with it, it's a case of me, right, okay, this is it. So I'm building this one at the moment and it's going together really well. It's not perfect, not by a long way. We've got some sink marks we're going to take care of next and stuff like that. And I can tell you all about it instead of thinking, well, I don't want to upset them because they're never going to send me anything ever again. So I don't care. That's
Yeah,
it.
and unlike
So,
Phil, I will sell my soul to the devil. So if you want
yes,
to sing
Steve will
praises,
though. He'll put a
yeah,
positive spin on anything.
yeah, hopefully I'll have
He's so cheap. He will be sold.
Okay.
Right, okay, just before we get there, Ant's showing off now. Stephen says, hi Phil again. The main tank used in the Suez crisis would have been the Centurion, as it came into service in 1945. We're looking for amphibious ones, anything that could swim. I don't think that counts. I'm pretty sure Centurions couldn't swim. But he used to be in some type of amphibious vehicle. So what did the British forces have around about the Suez crisis that could swim? Okay, so Ant says, speaking of Hobby Boss, SU-34, the fullback, here's a small package arrived from the Far East yesterday evening. Very nice. How much did you pay for them, Ant? That's what we need to know.
Yeah.
This is why the boxes are so huge. You get a load of sprues. Are we talking a load of extra weapon sets for it, though? And does that make it really worth all that money?
Yeah. And so, and both me and Phil have got a little slot in our stashes that, one of
Yes.
those boxes that fit in nicely.
Yeah, share the love.
Yeah.
Did he go trade and that's why he had to buy 6?
Yeah.
Does look very nice though, look at that.
Yeah. It does, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
well done, Ant. Keep it all coming.
Nice start. That wheel, he's paid that wheel bay really well, actually.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's nice that. No, all of that.
Pops.
I must admit, I can't wait to build it because I built that in 72nd quite a few times for commissions back in the day, and always loved to do one. And the only option you could do was get the conversion from the Academy flanker to it, and that was a dog, absolute dog to do. So yeah, been looking forward to that kit. Okay, Krista says, hello guys, because I live in Sweden, I can't go to Telford. Looks, however, up to the turkey shoot. Has taken 2 days leave, so I can participate 24/7. Congratulations. You'll love it. We're going to have a lot of fun doing that one.
You'll have to get him on. You'll have to get it on.
Yeah, we'll get you on. Yeah, definitely. Right, Robert says, works quite well for brass tube. Maybe this is what Steve was thinking. Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
one of those
something like that.
ones. Didn't I have something like that? What did I have? Hold on. What did I have? I'm sure I had in my repertoire of tools. Can't remember what we have now for cutting.
But, yeah, that one goes from 3mm to 22mm, but I'm sure there were one that were even smaller that I saw.
Yeah, that's it. I thought I had one that small somewhere. Oh, I'm done with it now, admittedly. But I did have a. I'm sure I've got one like that. But the thing is, it doesn't do the really small stuff. Not even know what I've done with it now. I'm sure I had one of them somewhere. Little baby one. No, scrap that, can't find it. I'm sure I had a little dinky one like that in black. I can't do the video because obviously I don't want to get copyright strike. But yeah, definitely be something like that. You guys can watch that at home. Okay, tool, aircraft, yeah, there's another one there. That's probably the same type of link for it that Ant's put up as well. Okay, John, tool. Okay, nice cheap way of cutting brass screws is insert a micro drill, same diameter as the tube. Just roll the tube. Never thought that. Nice clean cut. What a Mr. B. John's with me on Thursday. He's going to be down here on Thursday, so I'll get him. You'll be able to watch John on the vlog. Okay, Alan says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Painting question. I have a passion for RAF training aircraft, in particular the Jet Provost. My favourite screen was the red, white and grey scheme of the 70s and 80s. My question is, which colour would you lay down first? As we speak, I'm putting the final touches to Airfix's new tool, Jet Provost, which has been a dream to build with no issues. So why don't you pick one up of them up at Telford, as well as the B17 for review? I can do that. Oh well, one final point, still yet to review the smear kit. Easy for me to say. Yeah, that's true. That's very easy for you, Alan. It's upstairs with my secondary stash. That's why it's out of sight, out of mind. I will get it down. I will get that sorted soon. I'll bring it down. That way it's on my mind. Okay, so colours. I tend to work always light to dark. So I always start with the lightest colour first. So from that point of view, I'll do the grey work, get that down, no problem at all. Then, to be honest, sorry, I'll do the white, then I'll go in with the grey, then I'll do the red. So I always work dark, because obviously dark colours cover light colours better and easier. So yeah, so definitely. And the other thing as well, red works really well with white as a base coat. So from that point of view, it won't be a dark red. You'll get a nice bright, you know, say the RAF red, because you've got the white there as well. So what I would do, grey down, mask it, then white, then go over with the red, and you'll be good to go with that one. But I'll pick up the schmear and bring it down here, and that way I'll keep it on my mind. But my review pile is like 10 kits deep at the moment, so I need to really get some of that sorted. Not to mention I've got bits and pieces everywhere. Okay, so Mark says, hi Phil and Steve, have any of you seen or want to build the new Kinetic F-16 XL 148? It looks like a great aircraft to complete. I remember it well when it was actually being put up against the F-15E, wasn't it? It was for the strike contract. I remember Revell did a 132nd version of it with lights. There you go, that's my back in the day.
I think Wolfpack do one, don't they, as well? Is it Wolfpack? Somebody else does one, I'm sure they do.
Yeah. I must admit, it's one of those things. I haven't built a Kinetic kit for ages. When was the last time we did Kinetic? What would that have been, the Harrier?
It'd be the Harrier, yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been the Harrier last year was the last time I built a Kinetic kit. Yeah, I'd say Kinetic have been one of those things. To start with, their kits were awful, they were crap, but now they've got the hang of it. So it'd be interesting to see what their newer ones are like. And say the F-16XL, for you guys who don't know, the F-16XL is the Delta Wing version of the F-16. And it's got bomb racks all the way underneath it. And it went up against the F-15E Strike Eagle to be the new strike fighter for the US Air Force back in the day. And it lost out to the F-15E. So yeah, definitely.
It's ugly. It's awful.
It is an horrible looking jet. Yeah.
Yeah, it ruins the F-16. Is a really nice plane, but that just ruined it. Just ruined it.
I must admit, I love the F-16 with the saddle tanks, with the fuel tanks over the body. I think it looks really,
conformal
really
fuel
nice.
tanks.
Yeah, the CFTs on there. and I can't wait till the Typhoon starts carrying them as well.
Oh, that'll be
So
amazing, them on.
because they've done them, haven't they, for the Typhoon as well, to have CFTs on the fuselage for it, which they might get in a later upgrade, and it makes the Typhoon look so beefy with them on. And so yeah, so I like the F-16s like it as well. I think it looks really nice. Okay, so Neil says, John, hey, if you live in the UK, and oh yeah, sorry, this is John for his Neo bit, have a spare Neo CN I don't use anymore. It needs a good clean, and the needle is probably needs replacing, so you can hopefully use it for spares. Drop me a PM with your address and he'll send it to you. There we go, see? Aren't we a lovely family?
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
yeah, well done,
it
Neil.
summarises
That's
it.
really
Yeah.
nice of you to do that.
Yeah, good man, Neil.
Absolutely right. Let me just refresh.
Yeah, I'm just doing the same then.
Okay. Okay. Eric is replying to. We're on about tanks, the compressors and things like that earlier. He says, Robert, a suggestion is to use California Air Tools ultra quiet 5.5 gallon compressor. If you can afford the space, it's only a little louder than a typical desktop air compressor, and it has a huge tank. You'll need a good regulator to control the pressure, and have to drain the tank occasionally to prevent moisture buildup. I have the tank set up and it is smooth airflow. The compressor only runs occasionally when I'm painting, and the best part is it only cost me around about $170. You can order from Lowe's or Home Depot. Here we go. Eric's on again. Hi guys, Phil, I have a question regarding the Hasegawa F-18. F-18 148 scale, since you've done a lot of them, one or two. I have one on the bench and two in my stash. How do you typically handle the gaping voids left from the engine intakes? The short intakes opened up on the inside of the fuselage, being the major drawback I have found with this kit. Yes, they've all got it. Basically, the intakes don't go anywhere. The intakes are only about that long, and it just goes into the model. So it's pretty horrible. Easy way, fog covers, stick fog covers onto it. You can do it that way. You can either use the bung type or the cover ones that go over the front of it, do it like that. The other option is you just lengthen them a little bit, plastic hard round, draw them back, and just put a fake compressor blade behind it, which is the other way to do it. There is, I don't know if I've got it actually. Have I got one? I might have some. Still got some left somewhere. Perhaps not. Got one thing. You can get aftermarket full length intakes for it as well, which come with a first stage compressor, and it's complete just drop in front from the internals, go in and back, and put those in. But yeah, unfortunately it is what it is. It's an old kit. It's an old 90s kit, and unfortunately they didn't worry about engines and things like that in there then. That's the thing to it. Quick tip for you, when you are doing that, don't put those, you've got the fuselage halves that sort of go in there, and it all sort of goes around and connects into that. So you've got like a three-piece rear end to it. What I used to do was attach the, basically put the intake in first before you put the side fuselage bits in that run down the side, so that way you get a perfect seal. Otherwise you end up with a step all the way around it again, because it's a nasty fit. So as you say, you put the bottom half in, then put the intake on, and then the side one goes in. You know the one that I mean, it's got the sparrow bay on it and all the rest of it that goes down the back end. I used to put that on last, so that way you can get a perfect fit to it, and you'll find it goes in really well and easy. But yeah, just a little tip for that one. Otherwise, if you do it where you just put it together then put the intake on, you have a huge step, and it's a pain to get that right. Trevor, hi Phil. Don't forget to get the pot of pledge from upstairs to see if it's yellow. Right, Steve, talk for 2 seconds.
What about?
Anything you like?
Right, I'll just have a look to see how the vote's going for my Thanksgiving turkey shoot. See which build is taking the lead. Well, so far, the Hellcat's in the lead with 42% of the votes. and then it's 32% is the Revel Ford F1 pickup truck, and the last one's the 25% goes to the main pickup truck. So you've still got a lot of time left to vote. It goes on till the question and answer show just before we start the Thanksgiving 4-day build. So if you want to vote, go down to the Take a Shoot chat area and register your vote there. And whatever you decide is what I'll be building. There you go.
Sorted.
Excellent.
Right. Here we go. If you want to see. Ready? I would say it's clear still. I wouldn't worry about that. That, as I say, it was full up with it, rolled around it, and then I've tipped it out. I don't know. On camera, maybe it's got a slight, but
I
it could
think
be
there's
plastic as well.
I don't know. Yeah, there looks to be a little hint now and again.
Let me get another one, which hasn't been done.
Have you got a white
do this.
background, Phil? Just plain piece of paper that you could put on your bench.
Hold on, I can do one better than that. I'll move my cutting mat. Hold on, moving along the bus. Right. Okay, so can you tell which is which?
It's on the right.
You reckon it's on the right?
Yeah.
Hold on. It's not, it's on the left.
Well, I can't then.
Yeah, that's what
In
I
fact,
mean.
you can. It actually, the one on the left looks clearer.
Yeah.
So no,
That's
you
what
can.
I mean. The funny thing is to say, this one here, this is the one that had it done, looks clearer than the one that hasn't.
Yeah, it does.
And
Yeah.
that's obviously because, hold on, I've got a bit of white paper here as well. There we go. Because this one, this is the one that's been dipped. This one hasn't. And it actually does look clearer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's made it a lot better. But say, all I did really is just literally came along with it and filled it completely up, rolled it all the way around it and tipped it out, and then I left it to dry. And you know, yeah, it's got little specks in it and residue and all the rest of it. That's how I can tell the difference. But generally, from a clarity point of view, as I'm holding this up, this one that we dipped is clearer. And as I say, that has sat in the sun now for, what, 3 weeks since we did it? And I'll be honest, it's not like this is Britain, you know, and it's cloudy and rainy. We've had some really, really good sunlight this last couple of weeks. And I would really be hard tell to know. It's only because actually this has got a bit stuck in it. And it smells. Yeah, this one smells all floral. So, yeah, very, very clever. But it is definitely, just by holding this up, looking at it across, this one has got a slight haze to it. This one's crystal clear. That's the one we dipped. So,
So there you go.
if I remember, I'll bring it to Telford. You can all then spot the one that's had it without sniffing it. Because as soon as you sniff it, this one you can smell the stuff in there, but that one obviously you don't. So yeah, here we go. Cool beans, see? But what I'll do is I'll continue to leave it up there and we'll leave it there till it dies. Or falls apart or whatever it's going to do, you know? Right, okay, sorry, let's go there. I want to go down to there. Where is that? 2? 2, that's it. Sold. Right, are we all done? Is that it?
Yeah, we're all done.
Are we all done? Right, do you want to lock it there, Steve? Because
Of course I can.
if you can lock it up before we get a load more questions in. So, for me, obviously the rest of the week, still getting ready, everything for Telford, pretty much there. To be honest, I have done a little bit more of this today. I've put all the control surfaces together, so we've done all of that, and I've taken care of the seam line on the spine. We've got to put some raised work in, which I don't think we've done before, so we'll show you about doing that. And then, to be honest, I've got to get rid of these sink marks that I've got in the wings. I don't know how well you can see them on here, but we have got little sink marks right across the top. Try and catch it in the light. You see them? It runs across there. Those we want to get rid of. To be honest, I think you wouldn't have to, but I can feel them. You can physically feel it in there. And in fact, if I get a sanding thing if I just give you a little rub, you should see them really clearly. There we go. That's one just there. And we got another one just there, which actually that one's not as bad on this side, but these are the ones we want to get rid of. So what we're going to do is quite a little sand job, little filler job just across those, and I'll show you about doing those and getting rid of that. Those tend to be my only sink mark on this. Now I was approached by one of the members who said he's got a kit and it hasn't got a single sink mark on it. So again, I think it is one of those things, maybe what we were saying before about review kits might be better than normal kits, as in that well, not all kits are the same, so maybe something along those lines, so we'll have to see about that. So anyway, Steve, what you got planned for the rest of the week? Anything exciting before Friday?
I'm going to use tomorrow to get everything ready, finish little bits off. I've got a few little things to do on the Husky to get that ready. I need to put the bonnet onto the, I forget what they call it, Humber Pig. Then again, I might actually leave it off so you can see the engine fully, just have it rested on floor. Actually, that could look a bit better.
Yeah.
Couple of bases just to spray, just to give it a bit of thing. I'm not going to town them or anything, it's just something to put them on. And then Thursday it's a matter of getting everything boxed up, ready to take to the show, and then travel down Friday.
Yep.
So
for me, I still haven't made a fully decision on what I'm going to take yet. Obviously, we're taking the Dolphin, and obviously the 190 will go our big super build. But then after that, it's like, wow, what are we going to take? We've done so many kits this year. It's like I can't take them all up because we'd have no room. So I'll just have to pick out a key couple for you guys to have a look at. I might bring out the blaster as well, so you can see that resin blaster. But yeah, I don't know if anybody's got any specifics you'd like to see. Then obviously post up in the forum, and I'll make sure we bring it up. But generally, because we've done so many, and obviously the limited space we have, also taking stuff up, as well as on the stand, I don't want to overdo it totally. But I might bring up a couple of little weird and wacky bits and pieces we've done this year as well. I might bring up the Helix, because it's really weird, and when you see it in the flesh, it looks a lot different to on camera. So I might bring that up, and some of the metal finish ones perhaps. That might be a nice touch. I might even bring up me Mitsubishi. So that'll be done, is done, that's all there. So yes, sorted. Seems we're going to be taking up most of the stand with helicopters this year.
I know.
Got the Coast Guard fleet there.
Yeah, I've got my little list anyway of what I'm planning on bringing, so...
Yeah.
The plans, there's no way I'll get everything done in time.
No.
I don't want to spend, up till, like some modelers will be spending up till, early hours at morning getting ready. Even, I know one year, speaking to people in the hotel, they were up till 3, 4 in the morning, Saturday morning, getting ready for the show. To enter the competition.
We're talking about this, I must tell you a little tale, because I had an email from our friend Ron. Now you remember Ron? Ron comes with us to the live show. Yeah, now Ron, if you remember, did that brilliant diorama that he's working on and hopefully getting it done in time for Telford with the Millennium Falcon. Have you seen it, Steve? The Tuesday live show?
No, I didn't. No.
Right, we'll go off and have a look and watch the Tuesday live show, because he did do this bit, and it's in false perspective. So he's got the Bandai 144 Millennium Falcon, and then he's done a diorama with it blowing up sand and everything, and then in the background of it, you've actually got a Star Destroyer that's obviously been downed, and all the rest of it, and it looks brilliant. So anyway, I get a text at about 9 o'clock on Sunday saying, my diorama, I took it to club on Thursday. He said, I took it out to the car, put it on the roof of the car, and guess what I did?
Oh, no.
So, yes, he drove off with it on the roof and it fell off. So I was like, you didn't? And he's like, I did. I said, God, what's it like? And he goes, actually, it's not too bad, because apparently it just smashed the corner. But everything pretty much got away unscathed, so he's hoping that he's going to have it all built and everything else, and he's going to actually enter it into the Nationals as well, so it'll be in the competition area, subject to it being fixed in time. But he did drive off with it on the roof of the car. So it survived coming to us, and then on Thursday he took it to club, to his IPMS club, and drove off with it on the roof of the car, so it fell off. So if he doesn't win anything, after all of that, It's jinxed.
Oh. You
So
just
yes,
wouldn't
not
do
good.
that, would you?
No, I did it with a mobile phone. But that's about as close as I don't think I've ever left a model on my roof and driven off for it.
No, I wouldn't. I've never done out like that.
No, definitely not. Anyway, that will do us for today, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for all your questions, and thank you for our record-breaking amount of people watching us. Because it looks like we've got 348 viewers watching us on a Tuesday afternoon, which is quite a lot. So thank you very much to everyone for joining us. So yeah, I'll be up with you obviously tomorrow. Do a little bit of vlogging. You're gonna get the first part of this guy will be up with you tomorrow. And then obviously on Thursday we're going to be getting ready for everything. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to have time to do any reviews this week. I might try and squeeze one in perhaps Thursday morning before John gets here, but then John's coming down to help me out with doing all the final bits and pieces new for Telford, and then obviously we'll be vlogging live from Friday right the way through to Sunday night as well with you. So definitely.
And I'll pinch your
Well,
phone. Go logging with it.
yeah, you can go vlogging with your phone.
Either that or
Bring up
you
all the
log into
cameras.
your thing with my phone.
Yeah, so Tuesday, Saturday and Sunday at 2 o'clock we will be live on air because I'll show everybody, I'll vlog it from us whilst we're at the stand doing our collective. So if you do want to pop in and say hello, be on the vlog and everything, come along and see us at Telford at 2 o'clock at our stand. So yeah, be a good one. Right, that is it. All done. Questions done. Where's the off button? There we go, down there somewhere. So there we go. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We will catch you all again very, very soon. Bye. Say bye,
Bye.
Steve.
Bye.
Bye.